Assalamualaikum and hi, good evening everyone. My name is Hajar and I will be your moderator for tonight. Okay, so first thing first, is it my voice loud and clear? So if yes, please give me emoticons thumbs up or put something in the chat so that I know on my side is doing okay, no glitch whatsoever. All right, good. I received thank you so much for the response. Okay, so may I know who is the first time here yang hadir ke webinar bersama Far Capital yang pertama kali? So if you guys datang untuk pertama kali, put one in the chat. If pernah datang mana-mana webinar, put something, put two in the chat. Okay, one. Oh, I see a lot of one tonight. Okay, maybe it's because tonight's session is about our first time home buyer session. Okay, so banyak nampak one. Okay, all right, good. Okay, amazing. So with that, so welcome to tonight's webinar, a deal or grid session, where tonight we are going to discuss about basically the first time home buyer special edition. Okay, so yang sedang tonton kita secara live di YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, so please join us through Zoom. So kalau you join us through Zoom, so special sikit di mana you can ask question and the panelists will answer the question, will answer your question in the Q&A session later. Okay, so for tonight, for this first time home buyer edition, we have handpicked basically the best of the best properties that we previously reviewed. So specially curated to match your needs, your concerns, and also to as aspirations for the first time home buyers like you. So malam ni kita ada 10 top properties that we are going to review it basically by the panelists tonight. So kita ada beberapa panelists. Yang pertama adalah CEO of Far Capital, Faizul Ridzuan, and then we also have Iherng here, Zakri, William, and also Albee. Okay, so before we proceed further, okay, malam ni I nak cover dulu, I nak bacakan dulu basically a few housekeeping rules for tonight ya. So yang pertama adalah there will be there will be no recording for tonight we given. So for those who want to basically watch this session again, you guys can watch it through our YouTube channel. So you guys boleh tengok dekat situ. And then yang kedua adalah please elakkan beri personal info and we will answer the question accordingly pada session pada untuk malam ini. Then last but not least, if you guys have a question to ask, please put your question in the Q&A box below. Okay, so please elakkan bagi soalan dekat chat because it's strictly for engagement. So with that, are you guys ready? Please give me emoticons sebab kita nak panggil our first panelist for tonight, Faizul Ridzuan. So boss, are you ready? Ding, ding, ding. Very much excited for tonight.
Hello semua. Assalamualaikum. Can you hear me? Don't think you can hear me loud and clear. Right. Can you guys hear me better now?
All right, yes.
Okay.
So the floor is yours, boss.
All right. Assalamualaikum semua. A very good evening to all of you. So, welcome to a special edition of Deal or Grill. Because, you know, typically the format of Deal or Grill is that we will discuss 5 hottest properties that is being discussed. Okay. So tonight is going to be a little bit special because we're going to pick top 10 from our previous Deal or Grill, right? Or even like what we haven't discussed, but it's meant for first time home buyer, right? So basically we are reviewing property, majority of them all below 600,000, below RM500,000, meant for first time home buyer. So tonight we're going to review 10, and basically from the review to, I think you should be able to go and tell which one is going to be the best one, right? So tonight's edition is really for first time home buyer. So anyone here first time home buyer tak? Right? Anyone here first time home buyer? Right? So tonight I think you're going to be in for a treat. Okay, cool. right? So quite a number of you. So I think by tonight too, you akan, number one, you will be able to go and learn how to pick good safe property for first time home buyer. Okay. Number two, we review 10, right? After we review 10, you should be able to then pick which one that makes sense, right? And basically, tonight's format is a little bit different compared to the previous deal or agree, whereby every time we look at one property and then kita panggil all of the panelists to go and discuss. This time, no. We will go through all 10 property, then only towards the end, kita akan panggil the panelists to pick their top 2, why, right? And then we're going to move to the Q&A, right? So tonight's format, very different, very unique. It is really, really meant for people who are looking to buy first-time home, right? Or first-time investment, basically. So, I'm just going to quickly set the context and the format for tonight so that you guys can clearly understand, right? So, number one, why are we doing this? We want to provide a different independent POV for first-time home buyer looking to buy a own stay property. Okay. Then, number two, we want to use data to provide independent guide for anyone looking to buy, right? We also want to cover the incorrect facts used by agents to go and sell this property so that you guys don't kena scam. And more importantly, and ultimately, for those who are watching this webinar, you guys are going to get shortcut basically, right? In terms of what to buy and in many ways, what to avoid. Okay. So, next slide, please. Right. So, to set context, okay, kita akan pakai 4 things to look at properties, right? So, there's going to be 4 criteria that we basically look at properties. Number one is that, can you stay in it? Would you like to stay in it? So, this is the only part tonight. We're not going to give anything between a 1-star to 5-star because staying in that area or that property becomes a personal preference. Does that make sense? So, we're going to review property in Subang. But if you are from, let's say, for example, from Bangi, for you, 0 star, right? So can stay becomes very subjective because it's very location specific. So therefore, we are not going to rate the can stay punya bit. How many star? Because if you like Subang, you're going to give it 4 star, 5 star. If you don't like Subang, nothing doing basically. Does that make sense, guys? But everything else, from whether can it be rented, right? And if you want to sell later, you have to sell at a loss, can be guided or can be given a rating. Okay. So long story short, we look at 4 things. Personal preference for stay. Can you get cash flow to rent this out? Can you sell this property at a loss? And how much is the capital required? And we're going to give a rating for each property. Okay. Because why do you use this? Is because if you buy a property, guys, whereby you can only stay, tapi when you rent, you lose a lot of money. When you want to sell, you're also going to lose money. That's not a good first property. Does that make sense, guys? Because what you want to do is that you want to buy your first property, must have plan A, plan B, plan C. You can stay in it, you can rent it out, and if you want to sell it, you don't have to sell it at a loss. Does that make sense? Your first property must have plan A, must have plan B, must have plan C. If you just buy because your parents ask you to go and buy because nearby your house, you are gonna suffer. Have you heard of people buy property very early, young age, but today suffering? Have you heard of this story, guys? Have you heard of this story? Right? And recently there's a viral punya post whereby a real estate agent say, if your salary is below 5,000, don't buy your property. Right? Now, I bought my first property with a salary of 2005. Most of the panelists here, they don't make 5,000 when they bought their first property for sure. Right? So, if you buy property with the intention of only staying and then you didn't check how much can it be rented for, what is the average price point in the area, you're going to suffer because when you want to sell, you sell at a loss. When you want to rent, you rent at a loss. So, if the property that you buy for your first property must meet the 3 criteria. Can stay, can rent, can sell. So far, does this make sense, guys? This is going to be our primary guide deciding for your first home. Because if you don't stay there, you can rent it and you don't lose money. Will you suffer from that property? You won't suffer. Does that make sense, guys? When you buy below market and then you want to sell, you sell at a profit, again, you don't suffer. So don't be like those idiots who tak belajar apa-apa, who didn't study, bought their first property, then complain about suffering. Right? Okay. Are we clear, guys? In terms of our parameters and how are we going to grade and rate each property? Okay. Now, from a capital point of view, right? Next slide. Okay. What we are going to be discussing tonight is primary market property, right? We don't discuss subsale. We don't discuss auction. Why? Because, again, I'm under the view that your first property, you must use little to no cash as possible to own it. Does that make sense? Because if you're going to pay 50 to 100,000 to buy your first property, you're going to save for a number of years, right? And normally, especially for guys have got a lot of responsibility before they are 35, right? Kena ada kereta, kena ada rumah, kahwin pun kena pakai most of the time duit lelaki. Kesian kan jadi lelaki kan? Betul lah guys? Right? So, I don't want to give you stupid impractical solution like your Facebook ataupun TikTok punya financial planner. Oh, menyimpan lah, I boleh save 1,000. Memanglah kau boleh save 1,000. Okay? Kau jadi lecturer, kau jual buku dan apa semua tu. Of course, you can save a lot of money. Right? But I'm going to give you a practical advice. You don't have to do part-time job to go and buy a house and get married. Does that make sense? Because if you can buy a property using little to no cash, you can reserve your cash untuk kahwin, untuk beli kereta. So far, do you guys understand, guys? Why we focus on primary market? Now, you can go buy subsale, you can go buy lelong when you have 50 to 100,000 savings on top of your wedding punya budget, on top of your car punya budget. Okay? So, if you know of any friends looking to get married in the next 1 to 2 years, girlfriend dah bising-bising dah bila nak kahwin dan apa semua tu, tapi kau tahu dia memang miskin, tak ada duit, suruh dia datang join webinar ni malam ni, guys. Right? Because if you join tonight, you might be able to go and discover some property. You buy not only use zero cash, but you might get cash. Okay. So, tonight we only talk practical things, bukan academic punya bullshit. Is that okay, guys? Right? So, I want you guys, after this 1 hour, 2 hours of watching, you know clearly what to do. You can buy property that does not become a burden. You buy property that does not use cash. And you can even get cash when you buy the property. Okay, guys? How does this sound? How does this sound? All right. Are we okay with this format? Okay. Again, I want to give you shortcut. Senang je. You watch tonight. Like I said, you're going to get a lot of insight, a lot of shortcut. You know what to do really. Okay. So, next slide, please. So, this is, like I said, if you look at it, dekat sini, we have 1 star all the way to 5 star. This is how we're going to rate. And again, the preference for own stay, we don't give any star because it's really a personal preference. You might like Subang, this guy might like Puchong. So you're going to rate Subang and Puchong differently. Okay. Now, let's say, for example, our first criteria, which is the ability to be able to be rented. So, if any of the property we discussed tonight, whereby the rental today cannot get to cover at least 70% of your mortgage, we give it 1 star. If the rental can cover 70 to 90% of your mortgage, which is almost all of your mortgage, we're going to give it 2 star. Okay. Now, if you can cover rental 90% of your mortgage all the way to even 100% and still get additional 100 ringgit per month, we give it 3 star. Okay. And if you can get, not only can cover 100% of the mortgage, but can cover all the way to even 500 ringgit positive cash flow, we're going to give it 4 star. And if every month after mortgage, you can get above 500 ringgit, we're going to give it 5 star. So 5 star is very, very rare, guys. So there's going to be a lot of property we discussed tonight. It's going to be between 2 star to 4 star. Kalau all the lousy 1 star, kita dah buang dah. No point discussing. Does that make sense? We don't want to waste time. So we only pick decent, good properties saja for tonight. This top 10 is top 10. Okay? So that means, guys, if we give it a 4 star onwards, right? For that development, that property will never be a burden if you know what to do with the rental because it's going to be positive cash flow. If you don't stay there, when you rent it out, you don't lose money. Clear, guys? Right? That's what the rating is for. Right? Now, the second part, which is the second column here, which is can sell, is how many percent below market or above market that property is currently selling. Okay. So if it's 20% above market, we give it 1 star. 10 to 20% above market, we give it 2 star. At market value, we give it, or 10%, we give it 3 star. At 10% below market, we give it 4 star. At 20% below market, we give it 5 star. Okay. So far clear, guys? The ability to be rented, the ability to buy below market. Because if you can buy at 10 to 20% below market, you're not going to have much problem to go and sell the property. Especially if the property can give you positive cash flow. Okay, listen guys. If property is below market and can give positive cash flow, you don't have problem selling. The property will never be a burden to you. If you don't stay there, you can rent out. You rent out, you don't lose money. You sell also, you don't lose money. So it's very important, guys. If you want to buy your first property, if can, you want to target 4 star onwards. On both can rent and can sell. Clear, guys? Faham bagian ni? Very important ni. Because after this, we go very quickly on the property and the rating. Okay? Now, the last part is capital, how much modal you need, how much capital you need to go and buy the property. So the more capital you need, the less star we give. The higher, the less capital you need, the more star we give. So, long story short, if you need more than 20,000 capital, is 1 star. If down payment is 0, but you still have to cover renovation and whatnot, up all the way to about 20,000 down payment, right? Capital-wise, you need at least 20,000. We give it 2 star, right? Now, if the property is 0 down with 30,000 cash back or cash out, we give it 3 star. Okay. If the property can give you cash, so if 1 star means you have to pay 20K, all right? 4 star means when you buy the property, you get 30 to 50K. So kau dapat duit. You don't pay money, but you get money. Does that make sense? Because you buy below market value. Okay. 5 star means from a cash out point of view, you're going to get more than 50,000. Right? Anyone here needs money to get married in the next 2 to 3 years? Then you have to target property that has got 5 star. Because means you buy the property, you're going to have enough cash to renovate the property. On top of that, there's surplus cash to buy a car or get married. Tanpa you perlu buat personal loan. Okay? Cool or not? How we decided how to do our deal or grill for tonight. This is special first time home buyer punya edition. Like I said, we're going to give you shortcut after tonight. I think you're going to be like property expert, property agent who will be akan pening kepala talking to you guys because you guys are going to be smarter than most property agents and they cannot scam you into buying a bad property. Okay, guys. So this is the format for tonight. Okay. Now, next slide, please. Okay. So some disclaimer. Whatever rating and star we give, it depends on the package and the price point as per May of 2025. So if you watch a recording of this, 3 months from now, October, package is completely different, price point is completely different. Janganlah datang maki cakap kita scammer. Right? You datang 3 bulan, 6 bulan lambat, lepas tu kau datang maki cakap kita scammer. This information, this rating that we give is true as of today based on the package that is given to us by the property developer. If they change the package next month, whatever that we say tonight is no longer relevant to that property. Clear, guys? Now, next slide. Okay. So, we have done Battle Royal in the past. These are areas that we have basically reviewed. We've done 11, right? From last year all the way until this year. We've done Maluri, Segambut, TRX, PJ, Kelana Jaya, Desa Park City, Johor Bahru, KLCC, Jalan Ampang, Jelatik, Mont Kiara, Bukit Jalil, Cyber, and Putra. Right? So if you are looking to buy any property in those areas, please go to my YouTube channel, go and watch the old Battle Royal. Right? It's a bit long, 2 to 3 hours. But once you watch it, you're going to become an expert in the area. Like really, no agent can scam you into buying bullshit properties. Okay. So this is Battle Royal. All right. We discuss area and all of the property in that area. Now next, right. We've done deal or grill beginning of this year. We have basically reviewed quite a number of property. I think we have reviewed in total more than 30. right? So these are all the deal or grill that we have done in the past. So if there's any properties that you saw here tonight that you are looking to go and buy, go and watch, right? Again, go to my YouTube channel, go and watch the deal or grill, right? Based on this episode of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we have a few more, right? After that. Okay. So next slide, please. Right. So these are gonna be the top 10 properties we are reviewing tonight for first-time home buyer. How do we pick this property? Number one, below 600,000. Number two, these properties are the one which is mostly discussed, right? Most popularly discussed, right? Everywhere from advertising point of view to Reddit to forums, right? So we pick the top 10, right? So, and these are all property which is you can buy at below 600,000, right? And these are all high-rise under construction as of today. So again, we're going to go through this property tonight, right? We're going to give it a rating. There are going to be a couple of properties we're also going to discuss beyond these two, just to give you some sense of comparison, right? And again, after watching tonight, you'll be able to know out of top 10, which one is the best buy, right? But before we start, right, can I see, you know, out of all these top 10 properties, which property do you think is going to be the best one? While I bring my panelists to quickly introduce them. And then we quickly go to the deal or grill. All right, what do you guys think? Which one of this property? Some people say Connaught One, some people say Pinnacle, Arte, Arishia, Kingswood, Arishia, Connaught One, right? Kingswood, ZIK, Radium, Connaught One, right? Artera, Arte, right? Artera, okay. So there's a lot of different POV. I've got one Gen Star semalam ni, right? Okay, cool. So now, before we start, I'm just going to quickly introduce our panelists, right, for tonight. Right, the presenter will be Albee and Zakri ke? Or Albee seorang je malam ni?
Albee, Zakri and Azrin.
Albee, Zakri and Azrin. So Azrin also will be presenting, right? So we've got multiple panelists tonight, right? Let's see. Okay. So some background, right? I think I don't have to introduce Sean, right? You all know who Sean is, right? Sean is the most famous property guy right now in Malaysia, right? The number one most famous, arguably has got the biggest bicep, right? You know, we have to ukur lah, bro. You know, between me and you, right? Who has got the biggest bicep, right? So yeah, Sean, yeah, of course, Sean Tan, right? Or Iherng, right? Right. So everyone know who Sean is, right? Multi-millionaire, multi-billionaire, number one, multi-millionaire property investor, number one property influencer in Malaysia, number two, right? The only guy I know below 40 has got a Patek Philippe lah. So that's number three lah. That's how I would describe him lah, right? So, and then of course we've got Albee, we've got Zach, who's and Azrin is part of the research team dekat Far Capital. William, basically, is also part of the Far Capital punya team, but William, I think shares a lot of story with most of you. But William today is 28, William? 28 years old.
Yep, 28.
Right? William bought his first property as a student, guys, at 23, 23 ke 24 years old?
33.
23 years old. And today at 28, dah ada berapa property, William?
As of now, 8.
So as of now, at 28 years old, William ada 8 property. Right? So William most likely is going to be better than me, right? I don't know if it's going to be better than Sean, but I think he's definitely on track to be better than me lah, from a portfolio point of view. Right? So William is the guy that I think if you are below 30, you should look up to lah, in terms of example lah. So Sean represents the mid 30s. I represent the, you know lah, below 20, because you know I'm Gen Z. Sorry. Right. Tak adalah, dah tua, umur 44 tahun kan. So, without further delay, I guess we can quickly start. So, panelists, like I said, tonight we're going to discuss the 10 properties. We're going to rate them. And then towards the end, then only we go to the discussion to cut short time. And the goal here is that we wrap everything up by 11:30. So, Albee, Zach, Azrin, the floor is yours.
Right, thank you, Faizul. I think I'm gonna start on the first one. So the first one gonna be Connaught One, the property to review lah. Right. So next slide. So just give a context. This one located at Taman Connaught, quite straightforward. Dekat Ceras area, TOD to MRT Taman Connaught lah. Alright. So first thing first, this is the details slide. Not gonna go into details here. You can screenshot first the information here. But roughly they have about 1,003 out of 2 phases. They're gonna have 2 phases. So they'll just launch the phase one, comprised of 1,003 units. It's gotta be freehold. In comparison to the area, roughly ada yang leasehold, ada yang freehold juga lah. So this one is freehold lah. And layout size, they have 5 type of layout from 1-bedder to 4-bedder. Potentially will be complete about 2027 lah. Right, and the facilities is roughly the one that you can see. And the amenities wise, great connectivity, Jalan Ceras, CKE, Suka, MRR2, and many more lah. And those are the primary school, secondary, all the schools nearby, as well as the public transportation, the one that I mentioned, but 70-meter walking from this Connaught One, which is MRT Taman Connaught, right? So next slide. So this is what agent portray on the marketing POV lah. All right. I think for this Connaught One is quite straightforward, not much of a sell kind of USP available in the market. So we can see here it's a freehold, TOD, yes, it's TOD 70-meter, great connectivity, highways quite a lot, and they got MRT. But the one downside that we found here is high density area and high density development, right? It's 1,003 for phase 1. They're gonna have phase 2 just next to the plot. And also this area is quite high density. We can see almost most of them is about 1,000-ish units for each development. All right. So next slide. So we go straight to the star rating based on the 3 or 4 criteria. First one is can rent, can sell, capital requirement, and can stay, right? So can rent, we give 3 star, right? We're gonna go into details here after this why. Can sell also 3 star is roughly, the price is at the median price, right? And capital requirement is at 3 star, right? You potentially can enter at 0 down with some amount of rebate, all right? Cash out, right? And the can stay preference is we leave it as a personal preference, as Faizul mentioned just now. All right, then can go to the next slide. And these are the details where you can see the price roughly about 550 and median in the area roughly about the same price. All right, the price range is big, but roughly on the average is about 550. All right, can see on the rental side, for the area 2-bedder, from 1,008 to 2,005, 3-bedder is up to 3,000 ringgit. Right, and on the last part is the mortgage and 90% at 4% interest. Can see from type A to type E, 1-bedder to 4-bedder, roughly about 1,004 to 3,100 plus. All right. Again, this one is based on the lowest average unit available. All right. So I think that's it for Connaught One. So I pass the.
Yeah. So if you go back to the rating tadi, guys. So what does this basically mean for Connaught One? If you rent, you are unlikely to lose a lot of money. So you can get break even or maybe even slightly negative cash flow. But your positive cash flow pun tak banyak. But it's safe enough for you to buy. Right? If you tengok tadi median dia, median is roughly about 530 plus ringgit per square foot. And today you are buying this at 553 per square foot median. And then you are buying this roughly at about 550 per square foot. So it's about there. So you're not overpaying. You're also not buying undervalued. So kita bagi dia tengah-tengah, which is 3 star. Right? And from a capital point of view, you can buy this 0 down. You're gonna be able to have cashback all the way to up to about 20,000. Personal preference at the end of the day can stay. Whether you like this area or not is completely up to you guys. So you guys faham? This is basically gonna be the format. So basically for Connaught One, it's pretty safe buy, right? It's not fantastic. It's quite high density, but can you rent it to not be a burden? The answer is yes. Most likely, if you have to sell this, you also don't have to sell it at a loss. And third here is that you can buy this at almost 0 down, right? Using as little capital as possible. So I think a lot of people actually voted for Connaught One. So I think you're actually quite spot on. But is Connaught One gonna be the best property we discussed tonight? Yang tu tak tahu lagi. That one you gotta wait. Okay. So let's go. Next property.
Okay, so the next one we have is Kingswood in Bukit Jalil. I think we actually discussed this in our past deal review, so I will just go quickly about this Kingswood. So you guys can just screenshot. I guess in Bukit Jalil we know about it. It's like it has a lot of future plans, and now we have plenty of upcoming supply in this area. So probably some people say Bukit Jalil is suitable for own stay because a lot of school amenities is quite complete as well, which you can see over here. And the size catering for different family groups, you can go for like a single bachelor's for studio 1 bedroom, or you can go for 3 bedroom for big sizes for this Kingswood. So in terms of marketing point of view, probably if you're comparing to the surrounding of Bukit Jalil, as in if you take in like a pavilion site, so Kingswood will probably looks like a lower entry price point because surrounding is already started for 1 million and 1,000 per square foot and above. So the only downside about Bukit Jalil probably is the potential upcoming supply is actually quite a number that you can see in this Bukit Jalil. In terms of location, I guess Bukit Jalil is actually quite matured and also quite strategic. And also Kingswood actually located maybe at the front end, which is more close to the LRT access if you wanted to go for this area, the Awam Besar area. The only thing I put on here on a question mark is the future booster about the wellness city and also MRT parks. This is why because everyone saying Bukit Jalil has a lot of potential value and also is being undervalued for some time. So they are looking forward for this wellness city and also MRT park. And as for now, I guess the MRT park has actually started on land clearance and things are. So, okay, we put it on a very positive side to look forwards for whether this, future plan of this Bukit Jalil is going to turn around the price in the Bukit Jalil. But as per today, you can see if you wanted to buy Kingswood, so in terms of can rent rentability, it's purely on which you are going to compare, which you're going to see later on. If you compare to like the park or something more luxury, of course, you're going to get positive cash flow. But if you're comparing to all those nearer, more high density level, nearer to Kingswood, probably is going to cover about 90% of your loan. Can sell depending on the price point you are entering, which you can see if you're comparing to the value that we always say pavilions, they retain their value. But in terms of whether Kingswood or the Kingswood particular area, price point is actually not that high. So capital requirement for Kingswood, you probably need to put some down payment to acquire this Kingswood product. Okay, so you guys can see median in Bukit Jalil, considering this old and new in the area, is about 700 per square feet. So if you want to buy Kingswood, it's actually as for now, it's about 850 per square feet. So it's more than or higher than the median. If you're looking for the rental, so we have taken like Trees, Tropica, and also the Park 2, you can look. So if you wanted to go for a small bedroom, like 1 bedroom is about 1,008. So actually you can get positive cash flow for this one because rentals wise in Bukit Jalil for 1 bedroom or studio is actually close to 2,000 already in today's. So it really depends on which size, also which layout you look forward for this Kingswood product. So the only downsides I would say is the high density, because for Bukit Jalil, we have counted for those undercons to be complete maybe in another 5 years. It's close to upcoming about 10,000 supply. And also previously in Bukit Jalil has quite a number of affordable housing. So it also have many blocks in Bukit Jalil, hence will be a lot of supply. This is why Bukit Jalil probably is suitable for own stay as well because of the school amenities, park, and also probably this is why many people stay there because of the density. Which you guys can look back in our series. So this is about Kingswood. The next one we have is Stellaris. I guess this is actually pretty new, near to our Dutamas, which is actually Segambut area. So this is actually the third phase by IJM. They have the Savio Sevi. So this is the last phase called Stellaris. So for this one, you guys can screen it. Completion is about 229. For layout wise, they have catering for small size, about 2 bedroom. It's about 700-ish square feet. If you go for big size, they have studio, which is catering for nowadays people are look forward, for a dual key convertible unit, right? So they have also these sizes. Is either you go for a 2-bed plus 1 studio or the 3-bed plus 1 studio size. So in terms of marketing point of view, I guess Iherng is a very big company. They are quite standard. They don't really oversell it. So they actually would say this is a prime location, but during the presentation time, they did told me like, actually this is located at Segambut, even though in their signage they actually put Dutamas. But if you look for proper address, they actually located in Segambut lah. So about what is special about Segambut, it's actually located very near to our Dutamas or even Monkara or Sri Hatamas area. So this is about Stellaris area. If you look forward for Stellaris Segambut area, there's actually a 5-acre future development plan, which is actually not really, is only I would say unknown for now, but people will say there's actually many potential and also they will take they can get advantage of Dutamas master plan because they're actually really very close. The other downside probably is the next, this is actually quite near to graveyard lah. So for this graveyard issue, right, I guess there's a lot of comments whether this is good or bad or whether it's going to affect the value, which you guys can look back of our discussion. I guess we discussed quite a lot of this in our past series. Okay, so this is from well-known developer. This is by IJM. The other part is this is TOD to KTM Segambut with the covered walkway. So among all the 3 series by the IJM, this the last phase is the nearest to the KTM Segambut.
By the way, Albee, got people asking, what's the difference between the red color tab for the points versus the green color? So basically, if you can go back to the slide, is that normally the red one is either incorrect marketing by the agent or facts which is hidden by the agent, right? Negative points, right? Which is hidden by the agent and it was not normally communicated unless it's being asked, right? So our goal is that kita bogelkan semua, guys, right? We just get everything to be naked so that you guys, well, get to know lah. If you're going to buy something next to your dump site, you will know by watching Deal or Grill is going to be next to a dump site. Okay. So for us, there's nothing to hide. We love buying, nearby high tension cable or graveyard as long as the price point is right. What we don't like is when agents hide the fact that this property is just next to a graveyard or behind it there's a graveyard, right? So for example, they've hidden the fact, at least for the agents that we were asking about this project, that is next to a graveyard, number 1. Number 2, they say it's located at Dutamas when the reality here is that it's nearby Dutamas. Entrance-wise is confirmed from Segambut, right? So it's not a Dutamas property, it's a Segambut property. Entrance is from Segambut. Is it near to Publica and Sri Hartamas? Not exactly like near lah, right? And then when they say, the 50-acre future development plan, right? These are all Dutamas master plan, is basically not entitled to them because they're not a Dutamas property, right? They are basically a Segambut property. And last but not least, right, is next to a graveyard lah. So obviously, we cover the good, we also cover the bad, right? So anything in green is something that they've claimed and we verify betul lah, guys. IJM is a pretty good, well-known developer. They are top 10 easily. Now, is it walkable to KTM Segambut? Yes, we've covered walkway. Most likely that's going to happen. So of all the POV that you see here, red is what they have hidden or they've marketed wrongly, right? While the green is basically what we think is the real thing, the real deal. Okay, guys? So that's the reason why we highlight red and we highlight green. Green is good lah. Agent which is good, there's going to be a lot more green for this project. Agent that is not so good, not so honest, there's going to be a lot of red on this project. Itu je. Best kan Deal Grill? Kita straight shooter je. Kita tembak je semua kan. Sebab tu tak ramai orang suka kita. Agents get very nervous when Albee or our team call them. They get very, very nervous now, right? So by the same time, they also know if we talk in our Deal or Grill, then suddenly there's a lot of interest, right? Then there's a question here to differentiate Segambut and Duta Mas. Very simple. If your entrance is coming from Duta Mas, it's a Duta Mas property. If your entrance not coming from Duta Mas, it's not a Duta Mas property. Itu saja. Right? So that's how we differentiate. Now your site could be next to each other, right? But Kampung Baru and KLCC is very near, right? You are just crossing the bridge, right? But one property, KLCC, you enter from Yat Kuan Sing. Kampung Baru property, you don't enter from Yat Kuan Sing. Okay? That's how we look at things. Okay, let's go, Albee.
Okay, so this is our verdict. So it's can rent is about 2 to 3 star, can sell is 3 star. Capital requirement requires some capital for you. There's no cash out for this. Okay, so can rent is up to 3 star because it has a dual key convertible unit. So I guess it has more potential for it. You guys can referring to our next slide later on. So for actually our Stellaris average is about 650 to 670 per square foot. So median for Segambut as in comparing to Era, Savio, Savi, as in the stretch, the same stretch of, you know, they are actually located at the same stretch. So it's about closely, new and old added is about 640 per square feet lah. Some Era is translated slightly higher, probably is about 658 or 660 per square feet lah. So if you're comparing a Stellaris, so it actually is slightly above the median considering all the new and old property that we have taken in. So if you talk about the mortgage and also the rental, so if you go for the dual key, of course you are able to rent it the studio maybe about 1,500 or 1,008, or then a 2-bedroom to be about 2,000 is more than about 3,000 each already. So it's going to give you a positive cash flow. So it's really depending on which unit layout that you are going in lah. Okay, so
Albee, can you go back to the star just to clarify for everyone? So you can see here for this project, there are some layout that will give you 2 star. We give them 2 star because it's going to be negative cash flow, right? And there's going to be some layout that will be positive cash flow. So this is what it means whereby we give people a rating of 2 star to 3 star. Means if you pick the right layout, you can get break even. If you pick the wrong layout, your negative cash flow will be above a few hundred ringgit. So this is basically what it means, guys. Yeah. Median wise, I think it's very clear. It's being purchased at median price point as of today. That area Segambut is roughly about 650. Also buying at 650. No issues there. So, you know, we don't think you're going to have much problem selling. All right. Capital, you need a little bit of capital to go and buy this. Okay.
So that's about Stellaris. Because we talk about Segambut, we have actually very close comparison which is next to it, Duta Mas. So I guess we talk about Duta Mas as a master plan last time. We also discussed some property in Duta Mas area. You guys can watch back our deal or grill. If you wanted to know whether located next to Great Fia is really something that's bordering, really affect the value. If you located next to Great Fia, do you need a discounted price point consideration for it, for the location, if you are buying for it? So for this is why it's important to look into the size and layout. But if you are saying as in going for like an own stay, for the workmanship, the size, the price, I guess it looks quite all right for this Stellaris. So for the next one, I'll pass the presentations to Boss Faizul to continue on certain property on his view or about some certain project.
So again, I spoke to you guys, right? So we give rating, and I hope you screen capture just now the table of the rating, right? So it gives you a guide, right? So and then I guess to give you some sense, right? Today there are properties that you can buy today, which I won't mention the name, right? But we give them code names. For example, Soya, right? You can get more than 500 ringgit positive cash flow, which means it's going to be given a 5-star. You are buying at 30% below median, which means, you know, it's given a 5-star, right? From a ability to be able to be sold. And third one, from a capital requirement, right? You need some form of capital to go and buy this. Therefore, it's only given 3-star. So to say that property with 5-star don't exist, they exist. You just have to work harder to go and find, right? So these are example, right, of properties that, you know, today available in the market, whereby from ability to rent and can sell point of view is actually quite below median, right? About 30% below median. And you can actually get above 500 ringgit positive cash flow. So this is one example. Now, if you go to the next one, so again, to give you a sense, right, in terms of what is available today in the market, right, beyond what we are discussing tonight, right? Next slide, please. Okay. Then we've got this property whereby the code name is Dora. So you can see here, right, this property from ability to get break-even point of view is only 3-star, right? So you can get break-even, but it's not going to be like massive positive cash flow by above 100 ringgit. Okay, so this is a property called Dora, right? But you are buying this at almost 20% below median, which means we're going to give it a 4-star, right, rating. But the best thing about this property and why our clients are buying it is because this property will give you about 80,000 all the way to 130,000 cash when you buy this. And again, you can still get break-even rental, right? You can still get break-even rental, right? So again, such property exists today, whereby you can buy a property, get above 100,000 cash back, and still get break-even rental, right? So this is second example, all right, of how we benchmark everything against whatever property I discussed, right? We go and benchmark, right? So third property, right, what we have as of today, again, to give you illustration, okay? This is a property called Una, right? So this one, from a positive cash flow point of view, you can get 500 all the way to about 1,000 ringgit positive cash flow. You are buying at market price point, so definitely that you can, if you want to sell, you don't have to sell at a loss. And when you buy this property, you get 40,000 cash, right? So that means from a capital requirement point of view, it's given 4-star. So again, guys, just to give you illustration, right, that they are property with either 5-star. So normally, a good property, you will have at least 1 5-star. A good property, right? 1 5-star. A phenomenal property will have multiple 5 stars. Tapi so far, property yang boleh ada semua 5-star tak wujud, guys. Right? Maximum pun dapat 2 je 5-star. Right? So maximum dapat 2 saja 5-star. Okay? Right? These are all property from developer is either completed, right? Either completed property or about to be completed, or still 1 or 2 more years to go from completion. Okay, so the last property deal that we have, again, to give you some level of illustration in terms of the stars, right? So is this property. Next one, please. Slide. Tak perlu ada cash. All the property that we say, kalau you tengok kat sini, capital requirement, all 3-star onwards. So you don't need 10% down payment for sure, but you might need some for renovation, right? So this one, for example, definitely can rent for positive cash flow, definitely below market for the area. And the best part, when you buy this property, you get 100 over 1,000 cash, despite you can get a positive cash flow. Okay, so again, guys, if you are wondering, is there such property? The answer is that such property exists, right? Such property exists, right? So moving on, right? So these are 4 property example. Why we can give certain property just 2-star je? Because, well, we can find something a lot better, right? We can find something a lot better, right? And which is why we clearly coded, right? How many stars for can rent, how many stars for can sell, how many stars for capital requirement. Okay, so moving on, guys, to the next property we are discussing.
So the next one we have Artera. So during the starting of the presentation, there's boss asked, okay, can you guys pick which one do you guys think that's gonna win? So I saw a lot of people comment on Artera. So I was like, oh shit, how I'm going to say this the truth. I'm not sure whether of you guys watch our Artera series. I guess it's our first one that we
I think after tonight, people will accuse Albee as an Arte hater.
Yeah, probably. So okay. So I was like, so many people choose Artera. Macam mana nak advertise this? Okay, but okay, let me review some of this issue first. Then I will tell why did this statement come out at the very first place. So this is Artera. This is located at Sungai Besi. Leasehold size is 2 bedroom, up to 3 bedroom, catering for a different layout. Okay, so 63-story, very fancy, extravagant design. This is the Arte style that we know lah, basically. So this is the agent's marketing story. I guess some of you actually click on the ads that with this design lah. They will say 5 minutes from Mid Valley, 10 minutes of TRX, you know, KLCC or somewhere velocity, but in actual it won't reach. Okay, so even though it looks very promising, 5 minutes from KLCC you can buy just with 300,000. This is not going to be, and also it's near to the future of Bandar Malaysia, the master plan. They have a HSR. There's also a great potential of it, which I guess this is a question mark as for now lah, because we have not seen really how it's going to work. You know, by the time how Arte is going to be, you know, with the management, it's a question mark as well. So as we know, Arte, they're actually quite pros on doing Airbnb. So they have quoted is like 8 to 10% of ROI, you know, with proven occupancy, which is actually we discussed about I mean, whether this statement is going to be correct in our past series lah. So which I guess is a bit overrated about their ROI and also their proven occupancy lah. Because if it's for me, I mean, this is located at Sungai Besi. Even HSL today is going to be like hot in future, you know, maybe up to 10 years later. People will still stay probably into the tourist attraction area. Probably they will just get, you know, to the station, to Bandar Malaysia, and they will hop on to the LRT to KLCC or TRX area rather than staying in Artista. That's my point of view lah. So I would doubt the maintenance till the HSL and the Bandar Malaysia master plan is up lah. So it looks very promising for the entry price as a first home buyer, buying like something like 350,000. You know, you get a 2-bed, 1 bathroom, 500-ish square feet. Looks quite okay, but in terms of location, if you look in details, it's not really very close to city center actually. So this is something that you have to take note of. But if let's say you wanted to go with like MRT, KTM, RT, so this is TOD to this, they say triple connection. So RT, future MRT3, and also we have 1 KTM station near this area. So without further ado, let's go to the star rating. So I would say 2 to 3 star. In case people say I'm a hater of the artist star. Cancel, I guess only 2 star because we can see the price later on. Capital requirement, it will, I guess some of you click on the ads about getting cash out about 40K. So this is up until today lah. Not tomorrow they change, I don't know. Okay, so you guys can see from median per square foot as now, Arte is actually above median lah. So this is why it's only 2 star. In terms of rental, it's not depending because we have is midfields 1, 2, Razak City lah. So depending on which layout you're going for. So if you go for 3-bedroom, slightly high floors and things, this is not going to make positive cash flow. So it's slightly break even, or you have to suffer from some negative cash flow lah. So for Artista, as you guys know, actually it's more prone to Airbnb. This is why it was on advertisement side, they actually heavily keep saying on the Airbnb to give you positive cash flow, because if you talk about the current rental markets in this Sungai Besi area, it's not really going to give you a stable or a more, you know, positive cash flow kind of view for this Artista. So for more details, you guys can refer back to our first episode of Artista lah. Okay, so don't talk too much tomorrow. If not, I kena letter ke apa. Okay, so we go to the next one. We have Radium Arena. So last time when we reviewed Radium Arena, it was pre-launch. Today it was officially launched already lah. So net per square feet wise, it was about 580 to 600 per square feet. I guess some of you are quite familiar with this. I guess it's about talking about owning Old Klang Road today, 2-bedroom from just about 400K, because Old Klang now today 2-bedroom is about 500K, 600K also have. So this is the selling point from Radium Arena. And they also have dual key concept, it's just a 3-bedroom, but I will just stress on, if you look, 2-bedroom looks like very big, but in terms of size wise, it's about 650 square feet. So if you look in old Klang Road supply and also all the layout, actually the size is pretty small, which you can have more bigger size in old Klang Road with similar price point. So I would say, if you're talking about entry price point, if you really want to stay in Old Klang Road, this area, and with a lower entry price point, this probably is something that you can consider. But this is not going to be 5 minutes to Mid Valley also, okay, because this is more towards at the end side of the Old Klang Road. So the only concern about Old Klang Road is about the high supply. It's really depending on which area. And also Radium Arena has a lot of discussion in forum as well, because we have Citizen 1, 2, we have also Exim product over that area. So within this, I would say less than 2 km, there's a lot of about 5 to 6,000 units for the whole area. So this is why people are considering about the high supply for this particular area as well. So for in terms of can rent, it's about 2 to 3 star. Can sales is about 4 star. Capital requirement is about 3 star. Give you a little bit of cashback, can get you renovations. So Old Klang today is about 630 per square feet for this near to this Radium Arena area. Not talk about the whole Old Klang, because Old Klang has the front part and more to the end part of it, or more to the Bukit Jalil side. So the per square foot or from Radium Arena is about 580 to 600 per square foot. So if you talk about mortgage rentability, so if you go for big sizes, if you're comparing, most likely it's not going to give you a lot of positive cash flow. So it really depending on which size you are getting in, the entry price point you're entering for lah. So that's about Radium Arena. So next one, we have Artera Petaling Jaya.
Okay. So next is Artera Petaling Jaya. Obviously is at Petaling Jaya lah, right? Landmark near Sheraton PJ. Okay. So number of units, in total they're gonna have roughly about 2,000 ish after phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3, potentially affordable housing lah, as it's gonna be a tenure leasehold, and roughly they have today 4 layouts: 1-bedder, 2-bedder, 3-bedder, and 4-bedder with dual convertible. And year of completion based on the phase 1 and phase 2, 2027 to 2028, and those are the facilities. They're gonna have quite huge facilities, more than 40 types of big facilities lah, on the 3 separate phase, right? And those are the last kali adalah the amenities and accessibilities. Highway obviously located really near to Federal. They have Sprint, NPE, LDP, Elite nearby, and those are the schools nearby. LRT nearby, PJ and LRT. Last but not least, LRT Asia Jaya is really walkable from this Artera lah. All right, so next slide. And this is the agent marketing POV. First is TOD. Yes, it is TOD to the LRT Kelana Jaya line, LRT Asia Jaya. Next is luxury concept of various facilities. I would say potentially above average towards the luxury segment, right? But various facilities is true, where they have quite a lot of facilities. Complete and also try to cater each of every towers, not to cram lah, where they have a separate facilities at separate towers, right? And the other USP here, agent mentioned, is low density development. We totally disagree on this, because we think this gonna be quite a massive development once it's completed for all the 3 phases, right? And the capital appreciation, right? Where we think this area of Artera is not really comparable to those at section SS14 side lah. All right, so next slide. So we are here at the star rating for Artera. First can rent, we rate as 2 to 3 star, as some of the layout rental can cover 70 to 90% installment mortgage, and some of them layout can cover up to 100% mortgage. All right, so hence we base on 2 to 3 star. Cancel is 2 star is purely on this area of PJ, as I mentioned. It's not really comparable towards SS14 side, right? Probably this price is about up to 9 to 10% from the area median. All right, and the capital required for this one, yes, potentially you can enter at 0 down with some cash access lah, right? And can stay, we leave it to you. You think you like the area, you rate it high. You don't like the area, you rate it low lah. All right. So next. These are all the numbers that justify the rating just now. The median at 620 PSF roughly, but the next PSF for this one are quite a big range from 650 to 780 based on the unit, based on the floor, based on the towers, based on the face, right? And rental here roughly for two-bedder is up to 2,000 and 2006, three-bedder is up to 3,000 where you can see the mortgage for 90% roughly based on the average, lower average unit, roughly from 2007 to 4009, right? It's quite high based on the price from them. All right. So I think that's about Artera. Can rent 2 to 3 star, can sell 2 star. Capital requirement, we rate it as 3 star. All right. So next one is gonna be Pinnacle Subang Jaya. All right. The landmark is Subang Parade. It's located just next to Subang Parade and also really near to LRT and KTM Subang Jaya. Right. Again, not gonna go into details. You can screenshot first. Roughly number of unit is 941 unit, tenure of freehold. Layout all is two-bedder, sizing from 500 plus to 600 plus. 525 to 620. All is two-bedder, one bed, one bathroom, up to two-bedder and two bath. I can see winner for tonight. Someone commented already, right? Okay, let's see. Right, year of completion is 2027. The facilities, they have the infinity swimming pool. The facilities is quite decent. I would say some of them above average lah. Right, really nice illustration for the lobby and etc. Right, but the rest of it, I would say, is quite average and decent lah. Right, but they provide the co-working space as well. They have a multi-purpose hall. Even the layout is two-bedder, optimum size, would say, right? And the amenities and accessibilities, highway, also quite clear. This one is really near to Federal and KVE, Elite and Kersas lah, right? And those are number of primary school, secondary school, colleges also nearby. Public transportation, quite clear. They are also KTM apart from LRT Subang Jaya. All right. So next slide. So this is agent's marketing POV. It's TOD, yes. It's freehold, yes. Excellent connectivity. We agree on that. The main one is Federal Highway, direct access to KL. So they also have other highways such as Elite can go to the southern part of Klang Valley also, right? And prime and matured location. Some people look this point as something good, something positive. Some of them will look this prime and mature location as something is not really good point, where some of them don't really look at this as an opportunity, right? But this is the selling point that we would, yes, it's quite matured in terms of address, all right? And the USP that we don't really agree, 5-star hotel spec with 40 type of facilities. I would say that the facilities is quite decent. It's not really luxury to the 5-star spec, right? But it is above average towards there. Some of the facilities matching this USP, some of them, I wouldn't say it's really 5-star spec. All right. Some of you already commented, presented before. Yes, we did. Okay. So we just go through roughly saja. Next slide. So for this Pinnacle Subang, first can rent, we rate as 4-star, consider high. This is due to the layout size is correct, we would say, and optimum, right? Just now, if you go back on the slide on the details, it was two-bedder for 500 each to 600 each punya square feet lah. So we would say that the layout size is correct and optimum lah. Hence the area can fetch two-bedder. Can go to the star rating slide. Hence the area can fetch two-bedder as high as for the as high rent with high rental lah. Then can cover positive cash flow between 100 to 500 ringgit monthly roughly, right? So can sell. We give it 2 to 3 star. Is purely based on the layout, right? Based on the unit lah. Some of them you are buying at median, some slightly higher than the median. So it depends on what price that you are entering, right? And capital required, this one yes, potentially you can enter at 0 down with some cash access, right? Can stay summer, we leave it to you. You like the area, you rate it high. You don't like the area, you rate it low lah. All right. So next slide. So on the median is about 900 PSF. The net price, roughly, you are buying slightly above. Some of them is at median, some of them is slightly above the median lah, right? And rental, you can see here, the OO property with the bigger size for 2-bedder, roughly is up to 2,000 each to 3,000 plus lah, right? For 2-bedder in this particular area, right? And the mortgage, you can see there, for 2-bedder type A to type E, roughly about 2.2 to 2.5 lah, based on 90% at 4% interest. All right. So next. So last but not least, tadi ada yang komen, Janstar, adakah you terlepas, but you are not. Luckily, we are still here, right? So this Janstar is, I would say, one of the hottest also in Auckland Road out of many other new launches, right? And this Janstar is really hot due to the location. I think the vicinity towards Mid Valley is one of the closest in comparison to other Auckland Road. Also, they have MRT, right? Future MRT next door, right? And it's a low density. So you can see here, screenshot first, you can see here number of units is only 360 units. It's a freehold next to MRT, next to future MRT Jalan Klang Lama, right? Layout size straightforward, 2-bedder and 3-bedder, 650 to 870, completion in 2028, and facilities here, they have the normal podium punya level and also on the rooftop lah. But swimming pool is at the normal podium at level 7, right? This one we reviewed last week already, last 2 weeks already on the DOJ. You can see that on the detail part lah. All right, and that's the amenities and accessibilities. You can see the Federal, MPE, Max, and KL Seremban Highway accessible from this side lah. All right, and public transport is potentially a future MRT3. It's just next door, about 50-meter walking sahaja. All right, next. And this is the agent's marketing POV. Yes, it's TOD for the future MRT3. And KTM, we disagree because they said the nearest KTM is Pantai Dalam, which is not walking distance, I would say, right? It's really far. Okay. Great return, 6% ROI. Potentially, yes, right? Based on the area rental, freehold, yes. Strategic location, we would say yes, because this one is the one that facing the Auckland Road side on the one that towards the Mid Valley side lah. So meaning if you are from this development, you want to go KL, you don't have to make a U-turn, just go straight to Mid Valley side, just go straight to the KL lah, right? And I think this one is more demand in terms of this residential lah. All right, and it's a low density 360 units sahaja. We would say yes, it's a low density development. But it's a high supply area. So that's going to be one of the concern, including the traffic lah. All right. So I think this concern is quite frequent as well, in terms of many launches, many completed developments in Auckland Road, where I can see today the traffic is really quite bad lah, quite high in traffic lah. All right. So next. All right. So for the star rating, we rate as 3 to 4 star for Can Rent, consider high as well. Since some of the layout can give positive cash flow below 500 ringgit, and some potentially can give positive cash flow more than 500 ringgit. Hence, we give 3 to 4 star. Can Sell is a 2 star. Is based on the pricing is considered higher lah compared to other developments in Auckland Road today, right? If you want to take in the area median, is roughly about higher about 10% versus Auckland Road punya median lah. All right, and the capital required for this one, just potentially you can enter at 0 down, and this one is no cash out lah for this. All right, and can stay, again we leave it to you, right? Personal preference. Okay, next slide. So you can see Auckland Road median is 630. So this one in average roughly about 750 lah, right? Depends on your area. And the rental here for 2-bedder is up to 3,000 to, especially for the newer development at Milers, roughly about 5 minutes walking lah. And Verve is next door, older, is roughly about up to 2004 as of today, and 3-bedder is up to 3006 right? And you can see mortgage is from 2003 to 3001. Hence, we rate it as per star on the previous slide. All right. So I think we are done for Genstar. Move on to the next. Right. So this is gonna be Azrin's.
All right, thank you, Zakri. I saw someone comment, is it ZIK Resident already been presented? Yes, I'm coming, guys. Okay, ZIK Resident. Let's look at ZIK Residence. This project is the latest. Oh, by the way, don't forget to screenshot first. This project is the latest phase in the Kiara Bay Township, which ideally located in fast-growing Kepong Metropolitan Park. This 45-story leasehold development offers 1,126 units with completions targeted for 2027. It's ideal for urban dwellers and first-time homebuyers, like all of us, most of all of us, with layout ranging from a 450 square feet studio to 1,198 square feet dual key unit. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is the agent marketing POV. Yes, every POV is in the greens. As a marketing highlight, ZIK offers a strong appeal with top 5 developers. ZIK Residence is developed by Sunrise, one of Malaysia's top 5 property developers. Free 100 ID furnishing promo, whereby this project includes a full interior design furnishing package at no extra cost, offering a buyers a stylish, move-in ready home without the usual renovation stress or expense. And integrated township, which is it close to schools, malls, and the good things is it close to the MRT Kepong Baru, Putrajaya line, and more. And last but not least is the low entry price with luxury lifestyle concept. It priced from the RM 580 per square feet with premium facilities like a sky gym, like pool and co-working pods. Next. Okay, this is the star rating, guys. ZIK Resident has earned a 4-star rating for can rent. It's quite high actually. 2-star for can sell and 4-star for capital requirement. And why is it like this? Because of this. Next. And I think after this, maybe some people might change their mind to go to ZIK Residence.
So is there no cons whatsoever for ZIK? The answer is bukan tak ada cons, guys, tapi the agent did not market this wrongly.
Yes.
So far what we discovered, at least for UEM Sunrise project, they seem to be properly able to go and control its agents to the point there's no mis-selling, there's no misrepresentation.
Betul.
Right? So it does not mean that this property is perfect, guys. It just means that from an agent POV, a lot of agent, can like for example, Arte one is the best 5 minit to Mid Valley, right? So I'm not sure 5 minit tu pukul berapa kan. So I think kalau pukul 3 pagi pun tak sampai kot 5 minit to Mid Valley tu. So Arte's agent is the best when it comes to misrepresentation and selling. But as far as ZIK is concerned, and so far what we discovered from UEM Sunrise projects, their agents has been quite, I would say, properly advertising. They don't market it in a way whereby it's just completely bullshit lah, right? So again, we bantai agents that that misrepresent, missell. As far as UEM and their agents is concerned, we have to give them 5-star lah, right? In terms of how they market project, not misleading, not scamming people, not lying, to the buyers. Right? So go ahead, Adrian.
Okay. And this is the last slide, I guess. Don't forget to screenshot also. With price starting from 580 ringgit Malaysia PSF, which is quite competitive compared to the Kepong median. That's why we make it 2 stars. Monthly mortgage also estimates start as low as RM 1,418, making it an attractive alternative to renting, especially when nearby 3-bedroom rentals go for over around RM 3,000 per month. And we can say that ZIK ticks all the right box, like our boss say, Faizul Ridzuan, smart, stylish, affordable. I will now hand over it to Albee. Thank you.
But that's not what I said. Oh, that one is Azrin punya POV. I didn't say that. Nanti I saman. Mana
No,
boleh?
no. Mengerti,
Buat
Obi.
ke? Ada kom ke nak push ZIK
Ini
ke?
macam ejen UN Sunrise
Ah,
baru dia puji kan.
betul? Semua green je.
All green. Go green.
Okay. So we have the next one is Arishia that you guys asked, right? So I guess Arishia is a bit special. I'll share a bit the story later on, but you guys can screenshot the number of units that you guys look forward lah. So this is actually located, even though it's Arishia located at Sungai Bersih, but it's the more front part is near to the Tryon side, KL48 area, that area lah. So in terms of this one, I guess recently the agent marketing was quite heavily, which I can show you what's on later on. Okay, so for this one, they have 1 bedroom. They also have something, I guess is not really special, but in this area considered quite special because they have duplex units up to 1,004 square feet. So it's a 3+1, considering as a double story kind of size for this Arishia. So facilities, they have a swimming pool, gym, games room, pickleball court, okay, for someone who look forward for it. Okay, amenities, Max Salad Highway. This is quite central located actually. So in terms of school and also internet healthcare is actually quite connected. Malls, we have a lot. Just cross the road, you near to the Pudu, you go to TRX, you go to KLCC, you have a lot. So public transport actually then not TOD, to be honest, is the nearest is the MRT Chansaling station. So they have 2 towers for it. So for this one, I guess if you click on recently talking about TRX nearby condo from just 400K, this was like, I saw this, I was like, what property in TRX for 400K? I also want to buy. Actually, it's actually Arishia. Then I was like, this Arishia looks familiar. They give me the layout and things. It was actually launched, I guess, last time, but then they collect some booking, but the sales maybe not that great. They relaunch it at a lower per square foot, to be honest. So this is why maybe they advertise it, in this kind of point of view with just nearby to TRX from 400K, 5 minutes walk to LRT. But to be honest, this is not walkable at all. So in ads, it say 5 minutes walkable. Then I asked, is it really? To the agent, they say no. The developer is going to provide shuttle bus service to the buyer or the tenant in this area. So this is not really walkable. Even you want to walk, you have to cross the main route, and it's not really able to walk for you to go to MRT Chancery station. It's not about whether it's shaded or not, it's the proper route for you to cross to this MRT Chancery station. So this is a freehold strategic locations in terms of density, 700 units, but actually maybe some people will say, hey, for development, 700 units is actually considered quite low density. But if you want to consider this Chan Sao Lin as in near to this KL48 area, Tryon 1 and 2 with this Arishia, actually not really that low density, I would say. So if you have been to that, for me, I would say it's a bit quite high density. So I put on the red side. So if you look for can rent, actually, I'll put 3 to 4 star because Tryon 1 and 2 was doing quite all right. Can sell is about 3 star. Capital requirement is 5 star because they have options for you to cash out if you're not opting for their furnishing packaging. So you can get some cash out up to about 60K. So depending on the size and the layout that you choose on, okay? So if let's say you want to talk about median, so that actually is just slightly above or just at the median because Tryon actually 1 or 2 transactions is about 730 per square feet. So in terms of rental wise, Tryon was doing pretty good today. Agent was telling me the rental that I have checked with the Stan one actually was proven. So if you go for the studio or 1 2 bedroom, is going to be easily break even. But if you go for big size one, but maybe there's some specialty of owning a duplex unit. But other than that, if you go for high floor duplex, it's not going to give you positive cash flow. Is probably is just slightly break even or cover about 90% of your rental value. So that's about Arishia. So without further ado, we bring all the panelists back to the ring. Today we have a very lengthy sessions, not to say lengthy, we have actually many property. We have covering 10, we have 6, the one that we discussed before. We have 4 new one, and this is special editions for those looking forward to buy the first home. Is either as in for own stay preference or some wanted to step in as easy entry price point, you know, looking at ads, 5 minutes from Mid Valley, 300K, what is it available in the market, you know, as in to start in your investment journey. So without further ado, let's bring up to the panelists to the ring. So, okay, I guess one is here. So I guess I just want to ask, boss, are we going to choose only the 10 or we are going to choose all the one that presented, including the one that you said just now, the 4 property, to be, so everyone can choose whatever they want?
In a way, anyone can choose any of the 2 out of the 10 that we discussed tonight.
Okay.
If they're gonna pick any of the top 4, the one that we basically highlighted what we are buying, right? You can only pick one of that and then one out of the other 10. Let's make it interesting, because otherwise then everyone will just go for, you know, Soya or Lara, right? So yeah. Let's go. Zach, you first.
Alright. Okay. Ngam-ngam dengan my choice, what you said just now. So I would choose satu daripada out of 4, the one that we have. Another one is out of 10. First one, at first I want to choose Soya and Artera, tapi I changed my mind. I go for Soya and ZIK. Soya is because obviously, thing on investment POV is really great. Not only low price, rental rental really good also. To stay pun okay, sebab layout is not bad. Location wise, quite premium, tier 1. So if first property, I would go for Soya. And top 1 out of 10, exclude the 4. The second would be ZIK Residence. I personally confident to UEM Sunrise. I have friend bought UEM also. Kalau pricing macam tapi pricing kalau pricing macam lower sikit, I think ZIK akan jadi the best new property in the area, right? Which I think now is not the lowest in the comparable area, but I think if the lower sikit, I think ZIK gonna be at least the same lah as other property, other new launches in the area. I think ZIK gonna be the best new property in the area. But as of now, not too bad. But not really great lah. And can stay punya POV, I think I really like it. I really like it. Sangat-sangat lah. So Soya and ZIK Residence. Yep. What do you think, Albee?
Okay, if I'm going to choose, as a first home buyer, easy to entry. Okay, not to talk about too much about investment, right? So I will go for Genstar actually. I missed this session last 2 weeks, but okay, I will pick Gens. For my pick, I'll go with Genstar in terms of locations, prices, because Genstar actually have batches lah. So if you are the lucky one, you know, you buy it at the very early phase, it's usually about 630 to 650 per square feet. With a spec, rooftop pool, the facilities, the location, with the future potential of the MRT3, as if I wanted to travel for work, and this is located at the front side of the Old Klang Road. Even though, yeah, Old Klang Road is a lot of density, high supply, you know, but the food, and also for this Genstar location, I guess is a good pricing for me. Size-wise is 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom. Price-wise is also not too bad. Rentability for future also considered quite okay. So I will go for this Genstar. So if the other one I'm going to pick is actually, I'm going to pick Lara. So because Lara is area that I'm quite familiar with actually. So looking at the potential of it, as in I wanted to get in something at a lower price point, about 300 square-ish, 300K plus minus lah. So comparing to Arte, that's advertising, you know, in a similar price point, I'll prefer Lara at a better location. And also connectivity near to mall, near to RT, business corporate park. And also this is why I go with Lara. With similar price point, if I wanted to go with 300 plus, you know, as a very first home buyer, you know, when your salary is not too high, maybe this is one of things that I can consider. And also the a bit of investment value lah. But if For own say a single bachelor, if you're looking forward, I guess it's quite all right. Even though if you want for small or big, a bit slightly big family, this might not be an option. But if you want a connectivity, small size, good entry price, I guess Lara is my pick. But if for bigger in size, higher in entry price point, good location to own stay, I would choose Genstar. So that's my two pick on different perspective, as in a low entry price point and also livability for a long term. In terms of size, location, probably Genstar is one of the option that can I opt for for the price point that I wanted to enter as a first home buyer, not too high, probably some of it. So I guess that's my take. So how about you, Azrin?
Hang
What
on,
do you think?
guys, before Azrin goes, I think there's a lot of people asking, soya tu apa? Soya milk ke? What is property soya Lara Dora? Is this property for real and whatnot, right? So these are all 4 properties that we handpick out of the Far Capital inventory. The reason why we can't reveal them is because we are buying in at below market lah, guys. So we are buying in at cheaper compared to public price point. We don't want to upset agents that are marketing these properties because they are selling at 50, 100,000 more expensive. Number one, we also don't want to upset the buyers who actually bought them at 50 to 100,000 more expensive. But I can assure you that this property exists. This property is real, is legit. The only reason why we cannot reveal, because the moment we put the name and the star, people will be wondering, hey, how come you buy this price point? Because we go out and see the developer, the ZIK Gallery, we're getting a completely different price point, right? There's a lot of Far Capital clients here tonight. They will come and testify that this is real, right? Again, it's a code name of property because we signed NDA with the property developer. We can't reveal the exact price that we bought, but we are buying this at, sometimes 30, 50, 100,000 cheaper compared to public, which is why we cannot reveal, right? So that's why lah, right? So which is why there's also a comment, right? We should exclude soya because all of the panelists will pick soya. It's not true. See, Albee did not pick soya, right? Albee picked Lara. Right. So don't make assumptions, guys. Gitu. Right. So right. So we can't reveal. We have to honor our agreement with the property developer. Number one. Number two here is that we are buying at a different price point, lah, guys. So therefore, to not upset the market, to tak nak kacau periuk nasi orang, get the developer to be in trouble, that we get 20, 30, 100 over 1,000 cashback, we cannot reveal. So actually tonight, we are supposed to reveal the rebate and the discount for each of these development. But one of the agent dah kenal Albee, by the way, right? Suddenly got very worried, right? So therefore, dia cakap, please don't reveal the cashback and the rebate supaya nanti EF tu takkan ada problem dengan the developer. To be honest, we did not do it to kacau developer punya periuk nasi and the agents and apa semua tu. We are only doing it as a guide to you. So therefore, we grade it as stars. Rather than we say, project ni ada 25% rebate dan tiba-tiba tomorrow, next week, developer will go into problem. Okay, boleh ya guys? So kenapa kita still letak? Because we want to tell you the things that public is discussing and public is buying, and there are things that we are buying. So these are things which is available. So for those who are wanting to know details of this property, don't worry, I'm going to share a little bit lepas ni. How do you become a client and apa semua tu. But for now, I think let's just quickly, I'm just going to answer this question, right? Is this property for real and apa semua tu? But for now, let's just let the panelists come in and bagi tahu what's their voting, right? So, okay, let's go. Azrin.
Okay, for me, my top 2 pick for today is Genstars and Artera. Okay, why? Because Genstars, because of the strategic location, right? It's near Old Krang Road, offering a good access to KL, Mid Valley, and Petaling Jaya, and has a first-time home buyers also. If you ask me, I will say I will find a residential that will affordability, location, in terms of affordability, location, amenities, investment potential, of course, and livability. And because Genstar is a strategic location near to Old Krang Road, affordable entry price, lower price per square foot compared to Central KL, but with urban convenience, modern facilities, swimming pools, gyms, co-working spaces, ideal for young professional. because most of the first-time home buyer, not all, most of it is young people, right? Young professionals, and because of the mixed development, often include the retail commercial components, more convenience without needing a car to go anywhere lah. And that first, Genstar, and why Artesta? Because I think that Artesta project have a unique design actually. Arte project are known for modern, Instagram-worthy architecture and interior. Someone like me, I love to post in Instagram, and we said like, I want to post something that aesthetic. So Artista is one of the Instagram-worthy architecture lah. And because of the city access close to KLCC, Embassy Road, and Ampang amenities, ideal for expert and professionals. And because of the high-end facilities also, rooftop lounge, 10 floors, sky gardens, and a great lifestyle value. And all of this, I consider, after all of this, I consider that Genstar and Artesta is one of the good investment potential also, because it attractive to young buyers and renters, because it easier to sublet or Airbnb, we're allowed. Okay, I think that's all from me.
Another question for this Artesta. You say about jahatnya I hari ni. You talk about Instagrammable and also, take photo lah. But if you stay inside the room, then your outside is, light on. How are you going to sleep? Because I guess this is some of the Arte in the Shiraz facing some of the issue lah. But of course, some of it is shoot lah. So if let's say you stay inside, outside so nice, but you sleep inside. How you want to live or stay in lah. But of course, if you talk about Airbnb, I guess Arte is hot for it lah. But if the lighting, if I was in exactly the window room, I guess I need to put a lot of high quality of curtain that can block out the lights. That's my take for this Artista actually.
Okay.
I can also talk about this lah. But I guess maybe you have the take of the Instagram or maybe Gen Alpha.
Gen Z.
Even nak cakap Gen pula. Okay.
Albee
What-
masih kedengaran membenci this development, Albee.
Nanti esok this statement. Not promoting by giving a lot of personal point of view.
Let's go, William.
Okay. I think for me, I actually picked Connaught One, right? Because actually I already booked this before, but 2 years ago lah. Tapi I cancelled it because I don't know, because of Soya lah, which I don't need to elaborate more, right? But again, I think from a first home buyer point of view, right, you want something more. I think at price point wise, you want something that's more affordable, right, to 300K range, and preferably competing suit. Right, for me, because if you want to invest small, right, you want to start with something small first, basically, to have a taste on, what's like in property investment. So I think Connaught One is one of them that's rather safe, right, linked to MRT, right, built by right. I'm a fans also lah. So I think pretty solid. At the studio, I think it's about 200K each only lah, right, net wise, low floor, right, for a freehold MRT link project. I think it's pretty good lah for first home buyer to test, right, to have a taste on property investment. So my next pick actually is similar, right, linked to LRT, Bangsa South, which is Lara. Again, not available for public, right? So I think Faizul later will share lah. I think Lara you can buy at what, 200K ish. You just need about 1,000 ringgit or about 1,000 ringgit kind of installment, right? You can have a property ready to really know what it's like to invest in property. So I think these two will be pretty good options lah, like for first home buyer, to kickstart your investment journey. Yeah. Iherng?
Okay. I don't know what's Lara also. Just for the
Oh,
audience
okay.
also, right? I also don't know what is Lara because although I'm a client also, I don't know what is that. I'm also an owner of the Soya, so I just want to play from the point of view of the audience, right? There's some clarifications lah. First of all, very rare I put out notes, right? Suddenly I forget. By the time everybody say, I forget what I want to say already. From a public transport point of view, like everybody says got MRT lah, got TOD lah, right? My main number one choice will be Genstars. Why? Is because everyone says connected to MRT, right? So what's the main difference then? It's whether is it completed or is it belum completed. And sometimes like we've seen like the hype of a thing that haven't happened, the hype is bigger than after it's completed. Then the next thing is also when it's completed, we need to look into the distance to bigger locations of job opportunities. Like if they are closer to TRX, they are closer to KLCC, only it makes sense. No point if you are at the furthest end, right? Like certain area in like Subang Jaya, you are close to LRT, no point because driving to KL is closer, right? Compared to the train, to traveling by train, right? But if you are in Maluri, it makes sense to take the train because it's actually closer than driving. The main difference there lah. So these are the little nuances when you are a first time home buyer. And the first time home buyer here, I just put a persona that you're about 25 to 28. So everybody like when you look at it, right? Like, oh, this one too small, then I want to have a kid, how? Then like what's the first property criteria, right? Like I think I like this session because it's really everything that you can measure, like rental can cover, can sell, capital you're not overpaying and things like that, right? That's great. But ultimately, as your first property, I don't want to put in whether are you single or married or whatsoever. Because technically, right, if you can buy all this property, right, you should continue renting. All these properties should be for investment, not for your own stay. That's my point of view lah. Also, density, there's a different criteria to it. Some are like ZIK, like everybody like ZIK numbers looks amazing, right? Until you go to the site.
Yes, actually, I also want to talk. Actually, it's quite high dense because I'm quite near to this area. I mean, I stay in Subang, right? So sometimes I go to Karabi area for Starbucks. So to be honest, it's
Wah,
really
atas
high
one go
dense.
Starbucks.
Tak ada lah, tak ada benda already. The nearest already. So okay, and then with a better environment, so this Karabi offer me better environment. So, but to be honest, it is really actually high density. We have M-Luna. We have also the government affordable stay over this area. And also actually ZIK has also future phases, to be honest. And also it's going to be a master plan. So for me, ZIK is also a high density area, to be honest, on my side. That's my take. Because I'm
Correct.
quite close to
So
this.
my point was, if you look into ZIK, the density is from project that's yet to be completed. But if you look into the Connaught, it's all completed, left their own phase. So it's all like when we look into all this similar density or what or not, right? Then there's before and after. Sudah complete ke belum complete. So if it's so if the rent that you're getting right now is before the whole township is completed, it's a very different thing than compared to Connaught One. You are the latest one in that area. Then you are the fanciest one, then you will definitely get higher in terms of the rent. Therefore, I also go for Connaught and I go for Genstars with all those reasons lah. And if you look at it, pretty solid. But if I would pick. If I can only pick one, I would pick only Genstars. Is because the low density, the freehold. And if you look into density, right, like all people say Oakland Road high density until you go to Connaught One. Like all this project here, all sites I've been to. So that's the craziest thing. I got no life. Right? So all sites I've been to, but if you look into density wise, Oakland Road in comparison is not that bad. Just that people look into the road and the traffic of Oakland Road to determine the density. Then if you calculate density, also there's a unit per tower and unit per floor plate. Nobody wants to talk about the Pinnacle Subang Jaya's unit per floor plate. Yeah. So although it's like what Zakri always love it, and Zakri likes the small efficient layout. Every time he explained that, right, I also cringe, right? Because 500 square feet, right? One of the bedroom, you have like a window above your door. That's about it. So again, I just prefer Gen Stars in that point of view. But as a normal person, the only way to beat the market is go early, lor. So I went when the sales gallery weren't ready yet. So that was the good time lah. But now it's kind of popular already. Sales gallery sudah complete, sudah cantik, pricing a bit different lah. Yep. I'm losing my voice. I don't know why. Okay.
You better. Those are signs that you're gonna lose your voice. Air asam Jawa, bro.
Asam Jawa.
You have to take air asam Jawa.
Oh,
Very
air asam Jawa. Okay.
air asam Jawa. You know lah, those Chinese. What they call it lah? Something for the the
Oh, that one I got. That one I got.
that one you have to take, right? Take
Okay.
care. Sambali. Okay. So I think a lot of people comment cannot take soya. So obviously I'm a little bit biased because I guess soya is a favorite for sure. So okay lah. I'm gonna go with everyone. I'm not gonna pick soya, even though in terms of the number of highest units per development that was purchased in the history for me personally would be soya, right? I'm gonna go from the far capital selection as of today. I'll probably go with Una. For two reasons. I like the area of Cyberjaya. It's pretty low density for me. Very little supply. Developer seems to be quite good from a facilities point of view. Renter can fetch. So if I was a bachelor today, right, I can literally stay in one of the rooms and then rent out the other rooms, and I get to stay for free lah in Una. Right, so I quite like Cyberjaya as an area. There's a lot of greens, a lot of land. Township is okay, not so congested, right? Nearby the airport. These are things that I basically like lah, right? So that's from the far cap inventory. What is being discussed as of today? I'm betting on Bandar Malaysia. So my bet is on Bandar Malaysia. So if I'm going for Bandar Malaysia, I still haven't made my mind whether I want to go for Arte Star, right? Or I'm gonna go with the one from Chin Hin. Right. So for now, it appears to me for long-term livability, right? I suspect that short-term Arte will win from a rental POV being new and whatnot, right? So I think quite sexy, quite iconic, quite unique lah. Whether you like it or not, Arte should be in a way complemented for changing the skyline of KL. Actually, it does not make KL to be as boring lah. You know what I mean? Thanks to Arte. But for long-term POV, I don't think it makes sense. Just like a lot of Arte products, there's a lot of concern from a long-term livability. Number one, number two, a lot of Arte properties are very popular with Airbnb, right? So Airbnb give you potentially only better return, but not necessarily, right? Not necessarily, confirm. So for me, I'm gonna go with Arishia. Ironically, right, by Chin Hin, right? So I'm betting on Bandar Malaysia, right? My objective of buying basically obviously is to make money. So I like jobs being created. I like the idea that it's gonna be developed by KLCC Holdings. I think there's gonna be an upside. But as of today, like I said, cash-wise, rental potentially can get positive cash flow. You're not buying above median. More importantly, for me as a first-time home buyer, I would never want to use any capital to buy any property. I would preserve my capital to go buy watches, Bitcoin, maybe a car, whatever, right? But not for property lah. right? So that's my point of view lah. Obviously, Soya is going to be your first choice, but if that one is not on the table, then I'm going to go with Una, Cyberjaya, right? Because of low density property about to be completed, again, no capital, 4 stars on can rent, can sell, right? Capital requirement too, right? And for what is available to the public, I'm going to go with Arishia, right? So a bit unique lah from a big point of view lah. Very unconventional for me. Very unconventional for me. Okay. So I think we can move very quickly. I think there's a lot of questions asking about our inventory. So I've already mentioned, we cannot mention our inventory. We cannot display the price point that we are getting. But if you have any interest, guys, to buy property that can either you can buy with little to no capital, number one. Number two, you want to buy property that can give you anything between a 30 to all the way to 100,000 cash. Means from a, if you want to kahwin or buy a car point of view, you're going to have the cash to go and own these things for free, tanpa perlu buat personal loan. And you want to buy property that can give you at least a 300 ringgit positive cash flow per month, and you want our help to go and do it, we are launching a one-off service, which only costs 499, money back guarantee, right? If we fail to find you a property that hits all of these criteria, 0 down, you buy at 10 to 20% below developer's price, right? With price point as low as 200,000, right? You can get cash, right? And you want to buy property that can give you cash flow, sign up for the 499 service, right? 499 service, and then we're going to help you identify properties. So similar to Soya, similar to Una, similar to Lara, right? So these are properties that you're going to be able to buy the moment you decided to subscribe to a service from FACAP. Okay. So with that, I think we've ended the live session. So let's move to the Q&A. Tak tahu apa jadi Kak Aja.
Oh, ada je wujud dekat sini.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. Right. Okay, so first I gabungkan a few questions. So yang pertama adalah okay. So hi, my salary is 4K and this would be my first time buying a house. So what would be the best move? And then how much cashback that we can get from Far Capital property deals? And okay, that 2 questions first.
So can you repeat the question again?
Salary 4K. First time buying a house, so what will be the best move? And then the second one, cashback yang kita dapat, how much cashback that we these people can get from Far Capital property deals?
I think based on what we discussed tonight, if you are talking about what you can afford at a 4K salary, there's basically, I think you can afford all of the property we discussed tonight. So can we go back to the slides of the property that we have just now? Right. So this one, the cheapest property is about 450,000. So 4K salary, you should be able to go and afford it. But this one not 0 down, right? So you can afford to buy it, but it's not 0 down. You have to spare money for renovation. So if you move to the next one, right, which is this one is not something that you can afford because it's above 500,000 ringgit. So I don't recommend buying this as your first property. Move to the next one, right? This one I think will be the best one because it's residential. This is basically dual key unit. So for 400 over 1,000, you essentially get 2 units. So you can stay in one place and then rent out the other one. Right? So for me, if I were at a 4,000 salary first property, this is basically going to be the property that I look at. About to be completed, can get positive cash flow. Rental is pretty good. Positive cash flow can be even above 1,000, right? And you get 40,000 cash, you know, out when you actually buy this property, right? So if I were in your shoes, that's what I would buy. Now for cashback, right? The next property, which is Lara, give you the highest. This is a 300 over 1,000 ringgit property on a 4,000 per month kind of like salary. You should be able to get about 80 to about 100,000 cash back or cash out, right? And this property is located at Bangsar South. Okay. So yeah, if I were in your shoes, I would buy either Una, Lara, right? Because those two doesn't require any capital, right, to buy.
All right, moving on to the next question. Okay, I was looking to buy a property in KL, so I attended your DOG sessions. However, when I asked one of the agents why you gave a rate of 2 stars on the property that I was looking at, the agent said that you are bullshit and quite biased. So what is your thought?
I mean, what choice do they have, right? So are we okay lah? Let's call a spade, right? Number one, are we biased? Yeah, we are. We are biased towards good properties, right? And not so good properties with agent that is misleading from a marketing point of view. Obviously not going to be very happy, lah. Right? So we are quite straightforward. I don't think the agent has got a choice, right? So we have a job to do, which is to actually share transparently, right? The question I will ask anyone here is that, is there anything that we have said tonight which is factually incorrect? Is there anything that we have said in the last Battle Royale or DOG that was so biased and it is factually incorrect? Right? And the answer to that is no. Right? So again, right? You can call me whatever you want. I've been called worse names. And am I biased? The answer is yes. I'm biased towards good properties. I'm biased towards good practice by property agents. So that's it. So agent can say anything. You know, we're not, you know, agents are not fans of us. So, you know, I've been threatened by property developers. Agents have reported us for doing this review, right? You know, we have even received bribe offers to change rating from 2 star to become 4 star for developer. We say nothing doing. It's not gonna happen. And we've got people who are trying to get us to go by inventory so that they can get more favorable reviews. Still, no. Right? So for us, very straightforward. Right? We do deal or grill to share what is our point of view. Now, our point of view could be wrong, but that's fine. But again, you know, as far as preference is concerned, again, it's up to individual preference. But as far as facts, when it comes to are you buying at median or below, it's not a preference. It's a fact. All right. Are you going to get positive cash flow or negative cash flow? It's not a preference, you see. It's most likely going to be a fact based on the existing data. Right. So, yeah, we are heated. Nothing new. You know, nothing new. Your job is to then analyze whether are we telling the truth or we are lying about it. Okay, that's all. How come William is not here? Oh, tiba-tiba keluar. Okay.
All
So,
right.
next question, Aja.
Okay, next question is from Angelina Chu. Hi, understand that there is an incentive by the Malaysian government for the first-time home buyer, for example, Rumah WIP or Rumah Selangorku. Would it be advisable to apply for these products in comparison to open markets units?
I think if you look at our philosophy, right, let's look at how we start tonight, right? So what is the criteria? If you're looking to buy safe property, can stay, can rent, can sell. Yes? When you buy subsidized housing, there's no option to rent by right. There's no option to sell. At least for the first 5 to 10 years. So you lose out on those two. So we certainly don't recommend going for subsidized housing unless you are extremely sure that you're going to stay there for the next 5 to 10 years. And it's 100% for own stay. Right? So there's nothing for us to go and review simply because you can't rent it out. You're not supposed to be able to go rent it out. I know some people are doing it illegally, but that's fine, right? And you cannot even sell. Right? So all form of subsidized housing already broke the rule of tonight, whereby you must find property, number one, tak perlu ada capital. Number two, can sell if you need to sell. Number three, can rent if you need to rent. Right? All the subsidized housing, rumah, prima, PPA, and apa semua tu, only can stay. Doesn't meet the other 3 criteria. And most of the time, they require quite significant down payment or at least money to go and renovate the property. All right.
All right, so moving on to the next question. Hi, I can say I am a fresh graduate who has just started working for 6 months now. I have around 10K savings from previous part-time work and current work. I am thinking of starting my property journey. However, how to know that am I ready to start investing?
Your savings is 10K, is it?
Yes, yes.
So savings is 10K, been working. How do you know? I think, like I said, if you observe our 3 criterias, right? Can stay, can rent, can sell. And if you go for property that is highly rated from a startup point of view, your risk is actually quite low. You can argue that as of today, you are ready, right? Because for properties which is rated, let's say 3 star and above, probability of you going to be able to go buy this cheaper 3, 4, 5, 10 years from now will actually be quite low, right? So you'd be better off just buying it early if you're not going to lose money on it. So the problem here is that, let's say, for example, right, recently there's a viral post, right? Below 5,000, better don't buy property, right? So I'm not sure, Sean, what salary that you had when you bought your first property?
That time, fixed income is 4.
4,000, right? So mine is 2,500. I don't know what Zakri punya salary at that point of time, but I think it's less than 5 juga.
3.
3,000. William, William super special sikit lah. Sebab
I
dia student.
commission.
Commission.
Lain, not salary.
Right? So Albee dah beli property belum Albee?
Going to signing?
Going to, right?
Yeah.
Oh, signing already?
No, going to now thinking already.
Okay.
Waiting
Oh.
approval.
Okay. So I know how much I'm paying Albee. Also doesn't meet the requirement by the agent.
Aiyo.
So, I tak tahu Azrin dah beli property ke belum, Azrin. Azrin ni macam agent UM, right? So Azrin dah beli property ke belum?
Sooner.
Soon. Okay. So long story short, none of us actually bought our first property with a salary above 5,000. And the reason why we can do it is because if you buy good properties, doesn't matter, you see, the property does not become a burden to you. That's it. Right? So whether you are ready or not, normally no people is completely ready to either own a property or go into a job, become a father or getting married. No one is truly ready in all honesty. Right? It's just something that you have to do to grow to the next level. That's it. Right? So I don't think anyone who's taken SPM will come and tell you I'm fully ready to go and take on SPM. Right? So, but you have to do it. It's just part of life. The bad news here is that the longer it takes you to be ready, the more expensive the property price becomes. It doesn't become cheaper. Itu saja. Right? So you pick your poison. Then you have to understand that you have to pay a price. Right? Sure, you can wait 10 more years, make until 10,000, then go buy property. That's fine when you think it's ready. But but again, it doesn't reduce the risk if you don't use certain criteria to pick those properties. You can make 10,000 and still lose 5,000 a month buying the wrong property. Right? So I would argue that it's not about your savings, it's not about the age, but it's really about your knowledge. What do you know about that property before you buy it? So which is why tonight's class relatively is quite important. Because once you understand what to look for, I would argue you are quite ready.
My point of view, a little bit different. I think because everyone here are property fanatics, are enthusiasts to begin with. So the property knowledge portion is settled, which is highlighted by Faizul. But on the other side, like readiness or not, first you need to qualify in terms of finance. Like 6 months, you cannot get loan, bro. You need to wait, confirm after another 3 to 6 months time. Right? Then the fact that you got 10,000 in from your part-time savings, right? It means you are kind of educated in your money management already. Just to add on protection, just to add on emergency fund. That's all. Okay. And the fact that you have worked part-time job for so long until you can save up 10,000, it means you are not fearful of working. I think the main criteria that I realized within the younger generation now is a lot of people thought they just buy property and it can sustain itself, right? Not really, because we don't take not working as an option at all. I think everybody here, once you buy property, you got to work for life.
Yeah.
Really lah, you really got to work for life. But it was never, not working was never part of our plans to begin with. That's why we just buy property only. But if part of your job is like, oh, maybe you want to travel in New Zealand 6 months lah, go travel whatever 6 months, right? Unfortunately, there are things that only you can do when you're 23, 24. It would make sense when you are 42, 43. So you got to balance that between losing out on the current pricing of property lah. How you can beat that then is to make more in the future so you can buy back lah. So it's there's no right, no wrong. It depends on which path you want to take. But based on the hustling tone, it's I'm not that surprised. But what my concern is if you with all this knowledge today, you go outside and ask all the agents, or if they go ask all your uncles who have buy one property for the past 20 years, right? They will tell you otherwise. If you listen to home buyers, they will tell you are too young. If you listen to property investors, what are you waiting for? So that's
You're
the
too
whole,
late.
yeah.
Should have
too late
bought
cannot
6
lah.
years ago.
So that's the whole difference. So maybe there's always a middle path that you can take based on your own personal calculations lah. And that's what Faizul mentioned lah. It's your knowledge. Like you take this path, you know what's the worst case scenario, what's the best case scenario. Make that decision, no?
I can share a bit of this, I guess, at my age.
Cannot tell
not
one
just
eh.
at my age. Okay, tiba-tiba nanti semua kantoi I. But okay, I guess
People will be
my
curious, what's your age?
janganlah macam tu. 18 all the while. So
18 tak layak dapat loan pun.
Yeah lah.
19, okay. So actually my background is from valuation lah. So I study that last time. So not to say I have a lot of knowledge. We do a lot of deal review. I saw a lot of property. We do a lot of ground study. That's my bread and butter daily lah. So that's what I do. So like what Sean and also Faizul said just now. So when I have a lot of knowledge, I review a lot of property. So I make I would say more informed decisions about what I'm going to go for. So maybe it seemed like you have a lot of knowledge, ma. You also can buy quite a number of property, but maybe at today's price point or at my situations, why do I choose to only buy at this time? It's probably about the knowledge that I have and also the survey that I got. But yeah, another thing is about the timing. So I have seen how Bangsa stock grew. Okay, wait. No choice. Today have to enter at this price point because I have missed the train. So it's about your readiness and you do a lot of research. I mean, you do your own research lah, of course, with your capability of what you can offer. Of course, don't buy something that's too expensive out of your budget that will bring you into trouble. So with that, maybe you are quite ready to start off, because this is why we do all this dual grill or battle royal in the sessions just to make all property to be more informed. You understand the area in a better situations. If you are not really from this, probably some will tell you, a young age, why you need to own a property, you can, or some people say, a very young age, with this salary, you can own a lot of property, or with your saving, you can buy a lot. But not in every cases, I would say. So it really depends on what you think about this, because some people say, buying property is not earning money. But it depends what on your goal, I would say. Yeah.
I think what you just mentioned is just belief system.
Mm.
So now I think at this stage, right, at his stage, at the audience stage, right, it's the belief system. So if there's just more people telling you or the data that you're consuming indicates that property is a no-go for investment, no matter what we say tonight, right? It's all a waste of time. But you have witnessed enough success in like William lah, Faizul lah, whoever, right? All your clients all made money, all just waiting for the next loan to get approved to buy more, right? That's why the belief system is there. That's part of the readiness that you're also talking about. Then, like, to further prove your own theory, you witness all the pricing that is past. Everybody say it's like, oh, too late lah, too late lah, too late, forever too late. Because it's just convenience for their inaction. By saying that, I don't have to do anything, so I don't have to buy, I don't have to get blamed. I get to be at the sideline lah. So that's an easier path to take. So that, unfortunately, is the toughest part. If you watch all the, like, what she said is correct. If you watch all the DOG, right? Sometimes, like, I will like, am I buying watches? Shouldn't I just silang all into whatever property, then silang more into everything else, like zero enjoyment all the way, because I'm just losing out. But when you go back to normal reality, people at the street, hey, you not scared, man? Even my mother called me to stop me from buying 2 weeks ago only. Sean, can you stop buying? I heard from the podcast you say you're buying again. Like, you got complain money too much, man? Like, yeah, also like that's
Like
the
what?
big
Watch or property?
property. I don't announce my watch purchase, bro. That one announce to you, only. Okay. Yeah, so I think that's regarding the belief system, and it's derived from what we see, what we hear on a daily basis. That's the rare opportunities that everybody is listening here today. We all talk as if, right, the property will should make money, man. But outside, right, this is one out of like 1,200 projects in Malaysia. Yeah.
William, what's your take? Maybe you can share a little bit POV as a young, successful property investor who bought his first property at 23. How do you know you are ready?
Other do it. Okay.
Mine was
No lah.
2 years of research lah. Mine was 2 years of research lah, and I was still 50-50 ni. My level of right? Yeah.
I remember I think I spent about 6 months before I go for the buy punya button lah. I think 6 months time. But again, because I have my background in as an agent, so I get to know more about projects and pricing, all that stuff lah. I think I got this unfair advantage upfront. So that answered my process. So I think Faizul, last time you are in IT background, right? So probably you need 2 years. I think nowadays, especially with information like so you can get so many information easily online. I think if you really focus into studying investment, I mean property or what lah. So I think it will be very fast nowadays. So I think of course you won't be confirmed that you want to make sure there's 100% understanding before you start to invest anything, right? You always want to like have this mindset of I try, but before I try, of course I want to make sure I know the rough process, right? Then let's go and try. I think it's of course because of your own risk taking ability as well. Like I'm a huge risk taker. I think like Iherng and Faizul also lah. Right. So it depends on your own risk taking ability. But it's okay also if you don't go for many. I think it is not necessary that you want to buy as much as possible. Right. Again, there's a lot of allocation of assets you can do in your portfolio. Right. So I think
May I ask that when you buy, right, that time the money in your saving account a lot lah?
Tak banyak lah. Because agent that time no fast com, right? Nowadays. So agent that time we wait like 6-12 months, even 2 years to get the commission. Actually not much lah. Not much. I think very less lah.
So
Like
no buffer at all, man, when you buy?
to be honest, that time I didn't think about buffer. Like I said, I'm a risk taker.
If
I
you
think
don't know or
like,
you didn't count?
I didn't think take that into consideration. Because at the time I still have active income as in my, I think I have the com coming in, right? Even though it's not as soon, right? So So I'm that confident
Also,
that
money
time.
is there, I just don't know when it will come in.
Yes, correct. But not much, very, very little. Then I start my first already. But of course, I buy tanpa modal lah, basically. Tanpa modal. So that reduced my risk a lot lah.
Okay, next.
Okay, next question is from Jonathan. Okay, I already bought the first property for investment, but I am not sure if I should buy the second property or not. So what is your suggestion?
You already bought something for investment and then you're not sure about buying your second. Okay. That one very clear symptom. You did not make money in your first property, that's why you're not sure. So I would potentially speculate and argue that you did not you did not know what you are doing. Hence your first property tak buat duit, because I think lah, right? At least from all of us here, from our cumulative experience, is very straightforward. You buy your one property, that property make money, you buy a second. Very clear. There's no point coming here asking anyone, you just go and buy. Yeah, makes sense, Sean, Zach, William, Albee, right? So everyone who has bought property, made money, they don't ask anyone for anyone's opinion because it doesn't really matter at all, right? You only ask this question because you're not making money on first one. So which means most likely, if I talk about the 3 criteria or 4 criteria tonight, can rent, can stay, can sell, you did not meet it. Right? So when you don't meet, then you question lah, should I go and buy or not? Right? So because if you are making money, it's not a question should I buy or not. It should be what would be the best second property I should buy. It's not should I continue to buy. Right? So I think you should change your approach. You have to understand that something that is lacking, which has resulted you into buying not so good first property, which is why we do session like deal or agree, right? Because if you pay full attention, it's very clear what to buy, what to avoid. There's a lot of major hints that we give every time we do it, from Battle Royale to deal or grill. Okay, so in a way, your homework should be maybe going through the last 10, 20 deal or grills and Battle Royale. All right, because I think if you have gone through all, you'll be able to go and find one which property that we discussed tonight, which is part of the selection. Right?
That's why arguably, right, whatever that is within today's listing, right, from a normal person point of view, it's considered good already.
It is. It is shortlisted already.
Meaning like all the 1-star one, you all dah keluarkan.
Betul.
So all those like, that's why like, why you only pick all this one? So if you have shortlisted or booked all these projects, right, from a normal person buyer's point of view, without access or cable besar, I think it's a good deal already. All homework's done.
Correct.
So just that if you want to play against the bigger boys, then a bit different.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to make it more impressive, we'll just highlight all the 1-star, 2-star only for tonight. But we did not. It will make our portfolio looks even better, but we didn't lah. We genuinely wanted to help, right? So okay, these are the top 10 discussed, pretty decent property, right? You got Gen Stars, which is all, a lot of the property that we discussed are all quite decent. All decent, very decent.
Because if I look into the chat, right, I think a lot of people think, Arte Star cannot. But have you there's so much more that's worse.
Yes.
So let's not forget the right? Okay, this sounds like I'm helping Albee in it, but not really lah.
So change your approach, bro. You didn't buy the first property, right? Doesn't mean that your second. If you don't know what you are doing, you're gonna continue to make the same mistake second, third, fourth property. You might as well just stop lah, bro. Right? So if the first way how you do it does not make money, then you have to change it. There are things that you don't know. Okay.
All right. Next question is from Atif. So FR and Iherng, should I kickstart my journey with just one property or just go ahead and buy 2 properties in one go?
Diversification only applies if you don't know what you're doing. That's what I learned from Faizul, not I say one. So yeah,
But-
like it depends on your homework. Like if you think that like if I buy one project by okay, I still remember when I buy one of their projects, right? They asked me, Sean, are you wasting my time? Can you just buy more? But because I just get PEDSD from my worst deal ever in my life, then like ooh. But to them, he like that's gonna be the biggest purchase for Faizul in terms of number of units. So okay, how do I think about it is no matter what I buy now, due to my behavior, I will have a safety factor, not like William lah. My balls not so big. I will have like a 3 to 5 months buffer every single project where it can be empty. So let's say if I were to buy a project, my monthly installment is like 4,000, my bank will have 24,000. Worst case scenario, when I get the keys, the unit is empty for half a year. Nobody want to rent. Can I afford it? If can, just buy lah. Because the upside is not within your calculation, but your downside is. So that's how you control risk lah, in my point of view. If you can stomach that, then okay lor. But if you need to take loan just to have that established, then I think it's over lah. Over your limit a little bit lah. Then it's then whether you want to take that line or not, you want to play within that lines or not. That's me.
I think it really depends on what you buy. If you're gonna buy a winner, then you're probably gonna regret just buying one lah. Now, having said that, I think all of our experience, I don't know about William though, but I think I can say for everyone here that our first deal we only buy one unit lah. Right? So William I tak tahu. Right? William punya story I tak tahu dia beli satu ke dia beli dua. In his first deal.
Satu. You mean compressed loan lah? Like buy two ah?
Yeah.
Oh no, tak ada. Only one lah. Only one. I get like limited loan also lah because young age and commission-based income.
So you can see, right? No matter, as of today, based on what we know, we can okay, buy 3, maybe buy 4, right? One go, right? Because we've got that years of experience. But the reality is that all our first purchase we only buy one property. Everyone is scared lah. Right? So just buy one, dabble in it. You can still buy one more next year. It's not too late, right? So I don't believe in the hype lah, guys. That's all I can say. If it's your first purchase, I think it's just very important to, number one, understand how the game works first. Right? Understand how the game works first. Nothing wrong with you buying just one property. People are not going to label you as a coward or anything. Right? Don't be a hero.
Okay, and I also realized this. Suddenly I just realized this. Because you are comparing to us, right? Suddenly one sounds so lame. So I think that's a very, very wrong comparison. Average Malaysians will have like 1 or 2 max in their lifetime. Right? Nobody buys property every single year, man. Only people around here, only within this community. And if you look at the people around like now, like 150 people out of 33 million people who is interested in property to be talking about property at 12 o'clock midnight on a Sunday, Monday. Yeah. So that's the niche of a niche that we are in right now. So don't compare that also. One is perfectly fine.
Okay.
All right, next question. Oof. Okay, from CL. According to Deputy Minister of International Trade and Industry Liu Chin-tong from BBK Network podcast in MITI yesterday, he predicted in the next 12 to 48 months, the entire world will face the following three challenges due to US global tariff. So the first one is world supply unstable. Second, US economy depression. Third, China and ASEAN stuck due to oversupply can't enter US. Every country's supplier race to the bottom or sell product in very cheap prices might lead to unemployment rate rises and global recession. So can FR or Iherng discuss how these three challenges will impact Malaysia property market? Thank you.
We don't have the time today, but we actually did a 2025 tariff webinar that we did share this for about 1.5 to 2 hours. Team, can you provide the link so that people can actually go and watch it? Right, so we've actually covered this, I think 2 weeks ago, right?
This last week.
Last week.
Last week. Kita dah buat last weekend actually. We've done it. We've done it for client obviously earlier. But for public, we actually did the same. Right? Again, if you are free, I'm doing an event next week in Maluri and Bangsa South. We're gonna cover quite a little bit of it. But briefly only lah, but a couple of slides. Feel free to go and attend our event for next week. There'll be a live event. Otherwise, just go watch the full webinar. We discussed that full blown. Okay. By the way, can I suggest any long question, just post it in chat. No. I find that as I'm getting older, I find it very hard to listen to a 2-minute question.
Another one is long
Huh?
Okay. Panjang ni bos.
So post dekat bahagian chat. Then I think everyone, I don't know if everyone is like me lah, but I think, you know, if you have problem listening for a long time, question, then you might as well just post, then people can read.
Okay, kejap. Let me copy and paste. There you go. All right. So, for retirement purpose, would you encourage a strong FD believer to convert FD into property full flexi loan? For example, if put 1 million in FD, you get 4%. But if you invest 5% net, after deducting all the costs, cash flow property, you will loan out 1 million, 4% from bank and put back the 1 million in full flexi loan that you initially put in FD to knock off the interest. Does this means that you save 4% interest plus extra 1% from rental after deducting holding costs, agent fee, property maintenance fee, etc.? So yeah.
I don't know whether we can relate to you at this context because none of us are reaching retirement age for the next 10 years. So it's not something that we are in a way thinking lah. We're not that defensive lah, bro. That's what I'm trying to say. At least for me lah, personally as of today, my behavior or my belief, and that's exactly what I'm doing too. I've never paid off a flexi loan. Right? I've never parked any money on the flexi loan because it's just 4%. And my tenant is paying the interest anyway. So I don't really give a shit about saving 4%. Right? If you watch my viewpoint on tariff is that in every crisis, gold will basically shoot up first. Right? And the other asset class that I think that people can strongly consider as of today is to actually look at crypto and watches. Right? So these are things that will hold value beyond gold. Right? Together lah, short term. Medium term will be equities and properties 6 months from now. Right? So those are things that I would strongly recommend people are doing. I've been converting quite a fair bit of cash into watches recently. Right? And so far, I guess I'm not doing too bad lah. I bought something and exited at a 20% profit in less than 3 months. Watches lah. Okay lah, not so bad lah. Right? Made 10,000. Cheap only lah on EP. Right? But again, you are going to enter a low interest rate environment. So these are strategies that I recommend people doing lah. Cash is not it lah, basically. So like I said, if I were you, that's what I will do. I would certainly don't mind putting cash into more properties, even higher down payment and all of that, provided from a cash on cash return point of view, I get above 10%. right? I get above 10%. So I give you an example, right? Every property that we buy today at FACAP is all above 6% rental yield gross. Some of it is 8%, right? Some of it is 8%, right? All the way to 8%. So to save on 4% is not meaningful because you only save 4%, number one. Number two, you don't have the capital gain element, right? So if you put in properties, you buy good cash flow properties, you can get 6, 7, 8%. On top of that, you still have capital gain, right? The only thing not so good about you buying cash is the non-tax benefit lah, basically, right? So which, again, I don't recommend doing it. I would rather you buy property at 30, 40% down payment. But just make sure your cash on cash return on your capital has to be above 10% to make it worthwhile. And almost all of the property we have in FACAP today will give you that. Above 10% cash on cash returns. Right? So property, as you know, if you buy the right ones, you follow certain criteria, it's pretty safe. You're not going to lose money. The question is that how much capital gain you get. On a cash on cash basis, it's certainly double digit. On both rental and capital gain.
My take on it is a very defensive move to an extent where I will not even suggest you to buy a property where you can just rent. Okay, a few certain uncertainty here. One FD 4%, I don't think so at 1 million. It's going to be lower, right? Because liquidity is going to shoot up for the next. We are predicting the global liquidity is going to be maxed out for the next few months. Then 5% interest rate is on a norm. Like for what we buy is actually higher. Also, the tax deductible portion of your income, like retirement, I don't know whether do you still want to declare your rental income as part of your income. That's also one uncertainty here. Because if you don't do that, how are you going to qualify for the loan? So like for retirement, are you retired already or you are preparing for retirement? Different story. Yeah, so if you buy a 1 million, then you put in the FD, right? Technically, let's say if it's 3,000 rent, your annual income is 36,000 already. But if 90% of that is interest, right, you can deduct out from your interest minus your agent fee, minus your renovation, maintenance, all right. Technically, you will lose money on a paper point of view. So you get to play about the tax system if you are not going to settle the interest lah. Right? But then when your money, you can still. So the best part about property is you use your credit to buy property, use your capital to buy something else. Make the money work harder for you. That should be the strategy lah. And retirement, if the global meltdown, right? Who more kanchong? Bank more kanchong or we more kanchong? Bank more kanchong. So,
By the way, one of the prediction for us is that we think that the interest rate is going to be cheaper in the next couple of months, right? You got global economy slowdown, right? Which most likely will push a bunch of central banks to cut interest rates. So your FD rates will be lower. Your interest costs will also most likely be lower in the next 12 months. Right? It's very unproductive lah to pack it into a flexi loan. Long story short lah.
And that's always great news for property.
Obviously, right? So typically when that happens, then you've got a demand towards property begins to go up. Rental does not go down, yeah, by the way, when interest rate go down. So we think from a property point of view, things are going to look quite good after 6 months. For now, a lot of uncertainty, people are going to hold up buying.
Wow, what a big question.
Yep.
All right. Okay, moving on to the next question from Angelina Chu. Would it be better for first-time home buyer to apply 100% loan or 90% loan?
I would definitely go for 100%. Like I said, my mode for first-time buyer, if you're in your 20s, you don't have more than 100,000 savings. Your job is to preserve cash. What Sean says is absolutely correct. Cash go use for something else. Use credit as much as possible to go own a property. Right? And if you buy the right ones, even 100% loan, it can still be positive cash flow. Right? Like I said, there are properties that we are buying today at FACAP, even with 100,000 cashback, it will still be cash flow positive.
Okay, so the mindset here, like from a Chinese point of view, they worry that the banks make money. A lot of people don't like banks making their money. But let's face it, the fact that banks are making money that enables us the possibility of making money. Yeah, so let's be friends with them. We need them.
Right, let's go.
All right, next question is from BC. Is the Dutamas development going to take long? Looks like some projects like NASA Tower got delayed and MRT3 also going to take time. So when is the right time to buy into this story?
I think you're referring to Metropolis, not Dutamas, right? So if you're talking about the NASA Tower and MRT3, I think you're referring to KL Metropolis. Right? Is a master plan. My advice to you is to buy based on current situation, not buy based on future news. Right? Long story short, whether MRT3 comes or not, you should still make money. So that's the mentality you need to have. So the mistake that a lot of first-time home buyers make is that I buy into the future story of Bandar Malaysia, not realizing Bandar Malaysia is a 25-year master plan. Right? For those who bought Razak City many years ago, are still waiting, right? For it to basically happen, right? So in many ways, what you have to train yourself to go and have a look here is that your future story is a booster, but based on the price point that you enter today, assuming MRT don't happen, Metropolis don't happen, can you still make money or not buying into this area? And if the answer is yes, you buy lah. Because if all of this happen, MRT, NASA Tower happen, right? You make even more money. Question is how much, right? So the key thing here is that buy based on facts, sell based on news, right? Buy based on facts, sell based on news. Similar to how stock market works when it comes to property. Okay.
I can share a bit about this Tutamas things, right? So because there are some like soya, is like below median, way below medians. Of course, because the master plan is not up yet. For example, like Bangsa South, probably 3 to 5 years ago, it was about 700 per square feet. Or if like during that COVID time. So some of it that hold on to the train. So they actually make the capital appreciation because today Bangsa South is about 1,000. But during when the master plan from UA was started, actually not really much people believe in this because that was Kerinci. So it depends on what do you see and how it's actually I would say, how is the master plan already been constructed halfway? How is it? Is this like TRX also? Last time TRX, everyone says white elephant, that is gonna work. Why launch so high? But some people actually bought TRX as a better price point. Some people make money, make rental cash flow from TRX product as well. So for me, my take about this is depend on how do you see the master plan, your information or knowledge about the median per square foot that you're entering. If you buy at a pretty decent price point, then you are just not going to lose money, and it depends on how much, like what Faizul said, how much you're going to make at the end of the day. I guess that's the take for this kind of master plan of development that I would think for it. Yeah.
Okay. Next.
All right, next question is from Hanif. Looking at all the new houses under construction and on the way, my main concern is that there will be too many houses in the future, and most probably it will be a competition to find tenants for the property. This is also in reference to the latest article that 22 billion of houses values that cannot be sold.
I think it was a nice headline, and a lot of people are cheering, right? But I don't think people understood context, right? During COVID, I think the number of property unsold, right, was actually above 35 billion. Zach, correct me if I'm wrong, because I was supposed to present this in Clay webinar, right? So it was above 30 billion. Today is 22. So if you look at it from that perspective, hey, the number of overhang property has actually gone down. Last year alone, year on year, the number has gone down by 33, by above 30%. Right? So for those who don't study history, wow, a lot of property unsold. But for those who study the market, like us, we do market updates for clients and whatnot. To us, it's just funny, right? That people are using this as a headline, not realizing that actually the number was larger before. And last year we had, one of the best years ever from a property transaction point of view. Right? So number of overhang is not exactly worrying. Then that number of supply has actually gone down by close to about 50% now since COVID.
Then if you think about it's still oversupply, right? I will always ask this: if we are really in oversupply, can every one of here just buy a property that we think that is cheap right now? So I think it's a very wrong term. What is oversupply? Oversupply means, oh, you got nothing to do, let's go buy a house. So, but you see, qualifying for housing, then at the same time we have headlines like fresh grads cannot afford to get loans. Then what are we talking about? Right? So it needs to be location specific. And density has never been a problem in real estate also. If the high density is a problem, Bangsa South, Mont Kiara, KL Central would have failed first. But those, I can't even rent. I can't even afford, not like William, I cannot afford to rent in those areas. Yeah, so I think these are just headline catchers that good to know. But if you deep dive into it, right, very cool insights actually. And I would argue that report convinced way more people to start buying today.
Yeah. But the headline looks popular lah. Wah, banyak property tak habis jual. But nothing is cheap.
Tak mampu pun.
Yeah. So I give you an example, right? Let's say, for example, you've never been to Mont Kiara in your whole life. Don't know what Mont Kiara is. Then you pass by Mont Kiara, you see a lot of very high rise. Your immediate first of thought would be this area oversupply. Come here to try and buy and see anything below market. See if you can get one. You can't. Right? So again, just because some people decided to build a lot of properties in Perlis or Perak, which is unsold, right? So again, doesn't give you the full indication of the story. Okay.
Right.
Okay, next question is from HE. As a first-time home buyer for stay, is it better to buy leasehold or freehold?
Obviously, if you can buy freehold for the same price point, you buy freehold lah. But normally it's the area preference, right? So this area normally is either freehold or leasehold. Very rare you see one area got this property leasehold, this property freehold, this property leasehold, this property freehold. So if you like the area and the area is leasehold, you have to accept lah, the area is leasehold, right? You buy because of convenience, you buy because it makes sense within your budget. Most of the time, freehold is more expensive than leasehold, right? So obviously, if everything is the same, then you buy freehold law, right? But normally freehold is more expensive by about 20%. Normally freehold is a different area compared to leasehold. Yeah, so yeah. Right. That shouldn't be a consideration for your first time home buyer. The only consideration if you buy leasehold versus freehold is that when you buy landed property. So typically landed, it makes a lot of sense to just buy freehold. Because leasehold property for landed is very unpreferred. Apartment so far not much of a difference. Leasehold or freehold.
Okay, alright. So I nak tanya first to the panelists, berapa banyak question lagi kita nak cover for tonight? Sebab ada banyak lagi question.
Banyak lagi ya?
We've got 14 here, right? So I think let's just quickly go through all of it lah. Secepat yang boleh.
Okay, alright. So, first one, this one is from Khairul. I have been a strong advocate for Far Capital and also Iherng. So, my adopted son, income 4,000, have recently purchased a property silently in Cheras after being swayed and convinced by a property management company. So, he is suffering from regret and buyer's remorse. I am strongly encourage him to join FC. So, can Far Capital Success Manager help him structure a plan to help him flip or rent out to help him purchase or purchase another property with FACAP? So thank you.
I don't know we can help him with flipping or renting his property because that's not the property that we know of, number one. But we might be able to go and find him some property that he can use it to cover lah, right? His losses in that side. So ask him to sign up for the 499, get him to go to one-on-one, and then after that, I think the advice will be quite individual lah, right? Depending on what they need. Right. So the link is given to the team already.
Okay, next question is from Ji Yong Chan. After watching all DOG series, I am deciding between Skies and SV3 for investment. Just from the calculations of cash flow and ROI, Skies is a winner here, but I have reservations as it is known an unknown developer, unlike Sunway, which quality is almost as promised, and Sunway's own stake as a township developer, which years down the road, the property and facilities may be likely in a better shape than Skies. So can Skies fetch higher rental in the long run? And how about exit strategy?
If you're a client, come to what do I buy? If you're not a client, go watch the DOG lah.
Dia
I
dah
think
tengok all DOG series.
I mean, like I said lah, we are not here to give you a property recommendation purchase tonight, right? That's not the purpose of this. And this is not a property that we're discussing tonight at all. Right. So yeah, I don't think it's fair lah. Yeah. Our POV is very clear. All right, when it comes to these two developments, it's already covered in the DOG. If you're a client, come to Albee. Very happy to give you my full sense. Right.
All right. Next question is from Jeff Pan. It is my third property. How to share name with family and we pay for loan? How to share the rental yields and capital gain?
Well, this is a completely unrelated question for tonight, right? I'm not sure what you mean by share name with family and we pay for loan. I think you are trying to get 90% loan lah. I think lah, that's what you're trying to get. Brother, just buy property at 30-35% discount lah. No need to share with people. Keep the gains to yourself. Right? Be a client. We've got properties that you can buy. Even on 90-70% loan, you can still buy this with little to no capital. So, you either buy a non-HDA property or you buy property at 30-40% discount. Okay?
All right. From
Yeah.
Harry. Okay.
Right.
Then. All right, so next from Harry, for someone at 45 years old who still have 190% quota, which property should go for?
Don't know, depends on your goal. Right? Is your goal cash flow, cashback, or capital gain? So which one is it, right? So we're not an agent, right? We don't give you recommendation. No matter what your goal is, I just go buy A because that's a project that we're selling. I wish lah, we are like that, but we're not. So
Yeah, so much easier that way.
right? So the whole purpose of what we are doing tonight here is that the way what property should buy should meet your objective, guys. Does that make sense? So, for example, you pay the 499 service one-off, right? The first thing we'll ask you here is that what is your primary goal to buy a property? Are you looking for cash flow? Are you looking for cashback? Are you looking for capital gain? Because based on your objective and what you can afford, then only we can recommend you go buy property A, go buy property B, go buy property C. You have to be clearly identify what is your goal first. Right? So, your age doesn't tell us anything lah. I don't know what's your goal. I don't know what's your income. I don't know, what is the purpose of you buying this particular property, So it's very hard to advise lah. And unfortunately, we don't give that lah. I wish lah, I'm like an agent. I got one property to sell. Oh, buy this one. This is the best property in Malaysia. But we don't do that. So and we're not. So, if you are keen, like I said, sign up for the 499 service. Very clear. You come to one-on-one, we ask you your goal, and then we help you find property that meets your objective and your goal. I think that would be more accurate.
All right.
Next.
Next, from Dylan, is it okay to still buy above median but rental slightly a positive cash flow, or is it considered higher and go for better options that can be bought below median for investment?
Why pick when you can buy below median and still get positive cash flow? So problem is that if you buy positive cash flow property, but you are buying it at, let's say, for example, above median, you're going to have problem exiting. When you sell, you have to sell at a loss. Not a good idea. You know, and here's the thing, right? It's not those things whereby you actually really have to choose one. Because you can actually get both. So again, the question is that why pick only one? Right? So I think there's another question here. 800 ringgit positive cash flow, but 30% above median. Deal or grill? Grill. Right? Definitely, because you can get both. You can get both positive cash flow and buy below median. So why pick one or the other? Right?
All right, next question is from Hanson. Hi, I have been listening and learning from Iherng's channel for quite some time, and I do have a question to ask. As for me, I currently have a salary 4.2K, just started working for 3 months at 22 years old, and monthly able to save around 1.2K with a savings of 60K from my freelance and part-time. So do you think, is it too early to start buying one, as I'm worried about the 35 years of commitment and the upfront payment for the property?
I think we covered just now lah.
Brother,
Yeah.
you don't have to pick. Right? So
We
again,
covered already.
no need to pay down payment, buy property that will give you positive cash flow. We already given the rating, right? So, but first and foremost, at 22, 60K savings,
Solid,
congratulations,
man.
bro.
Well, luckily you listen to me, yo, Aceh.
Stellar,
If you listen to me and now in the debt, then shit.
So, I listened to Sean and, today, nearly bankrupt. So, yang tu sedih sikit lah.
But I think on a more, it's just again almost the same thing, but it's a personal journey thing. Like what to buy, where to put the money, right? I think it's sorted out here. It's just that whether you want to or not. It's just that switch. You need to switch. Like, okay, if you want to take that risk, let's go. Then it's on this side of the deal, right? But now, like, whether do you want to?
But if I were you, I would set a goal of maybe 2 properties before 35, saving wise about 200,000.
25 or 35?
25. He's 22 now, it's 60K savings. So by right, fully paid car, maybe 1 or 2 properties. Should be.
Solid lah.
Huh?
22.
Very solid. Very solid. So nothing but respect, bro. Well done.
Just don't go bald. Don't go. Wow. The worst thing lah. They go and buy one Merc. Go and get a Rolex. Shit. Shit.
Rolex might not be a bad thing because even if you sell, you're probably going to lose maximum 20%, 30% of the value.
But you lose out all the opportunity, mah.
Yeah lah.
Then you like, wow, yeah, got Rolex, like everybody give you a better prospect or whatever. Nobody cares, lah. Nobody cares. Okay.
Don't wear a Rolex at 22. People will think it's fake, bro. Right? So if you
I
don't
never
have,
thought of that. Yeah, maybe you're right. But agents now all a lot, lah.
it's like you wear a pate and then you take MRT. Like,
That's what I did. I wear pate with my with this.
you are Sean, okay? You are Iherng. So everyone know you don't give a fuck, okay? But so it's different, right? So you've earned the right to dress however you want in any room, in many ways, right? But the reality is that if you are 22 and you're using a Rolex, it might but
bro, don't go that route. Don't go that route. Okay, stay true first. Stay true. You're doing very well already.
Yeah. Buy a second-hand tag for you. No value one. Most likely won't drop in value too.
Oh, you just switch on a lot of buttons in my brain. Get the F1 one.
Yeah.
Get the F1
$3,000. Yeah, $3,000. Not so bad.
Resale value can make money in 2 years time.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back. Anyway, bro, congrats. Well done. Very happy for you. Yeah.
Okay. Next question from Kate. Sean, your 6 months buffer is for the total loan payment for all your 6 properties times 6 months, meaning in an event when all your properties are all vacant for 6 months. Touch wood.
Yes. For me, it's yes lah. It's a stupid amount of allocation, but that's how I can sleep better because now got family ma. If I'm single, well, I go and cash buy more things really. I will get more APs lah. So yeah, that's the risk factor that I am adapting right now after having a child. And if I lose my ability to work, that will cover me
Mm.
for a very good amount of time. Yeah,
Hey,
so
have you seen the meme? Do you get a child or you buy a Nautilus? The meme, they do a comparison one.
no. So there's this saying also in China. Only poor people make decisions. Only poor people need to pick. Why not both? Okay. Yeah. But no, on a serious note, I'm not saying me saying that lah. But on a serious note, it's just do what helps you sleep at night lah. No point you want to just bet on getting rich, right? But then like you have all day kanchong, they not do this, they not do that. No point lah. So I found that balance between me due to my very terrible investment journey lah. Got one only like just bite me like mad lah. Yeah. After
Sorry,
that then
which one is that?
my JB one.
Oh, shops ah.
No lah, my luxury semi-D.
Oh,
Cash flow.
Austin ah.
Huh?
The Austin one ah.
No,
Molek.
Molek one.
Okay. Okay.
Terrible. But at least I came out from it lor.
Right.
Oh,
Next.
banyak lagi ke Aja?
What
Tiga je
last one? Last one.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
Okay.
I thought hari ni chill je first time home property punya benda.
Okay. So last one is from CL. Would like to know panelists' risk tolerance towards property investment. So for every 10,000 you earn, how many percentage of them will you deploy in your property portion? Like 10,000, use all credits to the max to loan out 100%, or you guys will have buffer will go max like 50% to 70% only. And the rest used for other investment instrument or field you understand with stocks, watches, bitcoins.
Oh, I start my portion will probably be about 300% of my salary. Because your question assumed that I cannot rent out any of my property lah. If you don't buy shit property, you don't have that problem lah. If you buy good property, you never had that problem. So my problem was that when I was young, I got rejected in terms of getting a loan because my salary was 3,000 and my monthly commitment on mortgage, this was at 26 or 27 years old, was already 3,500. But my mortgage is 3,500, salary is 3,000, but rental I'm collecting is 5,000. So very clear, I had positive cash flow. Right? So that's for me lah. I don't have a parameter. My parameter is that don't lose money lah. Just don't buy property that lose money, because if you buy negative cash flow property, you have a limit in terms of how many property you can buy. If you buy positive cash flow property, there is no limit in terms of the number of property you can buy, because every unit you buy, you make more every month. Your greatest challenge is to prove to the bank that you are worthy of borrowing to buy property after your 20 property, 30 property. So obviously, right, if you bought 20 property, all of them lose money, percentage doesn't matter lah. Fuck lah, just stop buying lah. You cannot make money on property after 20 property. Just stop buying lah. You know, just don't.
At that rate, by not buying, you get richer.
Yeah. So that's my personal POV lah. Sean, I don't know if they have a different take.
I think mine is more because on the salary portion also like okay, I use credit to buy ma. So technically I don't have to keluarkan duit. Then for the capital that I assume the bank assume I got, I go and flip somewhere else some more. Yeah,
Right.
so I'm very heavy on crypto.
Right.
But I don't do all the margin and all lah. So yeah, then again lah, I think as long as the criteria that like Faizul you just pointed out, right? Like as long as the property can make money, right? Then I added one more stupid layer of mine for safety of like 6 months buffer. Technically nothing wrong can happen really besides earthquake lah. But that
Yeah.
earthquake also insurance also can cover lah. I just checked. So yeah lah, I'm like double protected. So whatever money I can go ball on whatever. And even in my crypto investment, if it goes to zero, I'm all good. So that's the amount of certainty that I play about. Then if like the country closed down, I got my watches to just move out to Malaysia. Then do you have a foreign account with money inside? Yeah. So it depends on what level you want to play. But I think 300% is almost there lah for income.
The financial planners are going to flip lah, listening to Sean saying 300% is okay.
But okay lah, so I only take advices from people who is living the lifestyle that I want.
I love that, man. I love that.
So
Hey,
if are you playing to not lose or you're playing to win? Okay,
Win.
well, again, I'm just making things worse, but okay.
Yeah, I got a question here that by in the Q&A, which I think we should address. I think it's a very interesting one from Young One. The boss of a maintenance and building repairs company advised me that it is better to buy properties that are completed before lockdown, because newer property either cost much higher or they cost the same with much lower quality that compromise quality of the building material. What is the expert opinion here?
We talked this so long already, right?
Correct. If you watch our webinar before, especially Battle Royale, right? Last year's one, we actually covered this. We prefer to buy property that was launched before COVID. So not completed, but launched before COVID, because they use before COVID material, pre-COVID price point, right? Pre-COVID standards. Right? So we like it. In fact, majority of the property that we have bought since COVID happened is actually property that was launched before COVID, not post-COVID. Because of this. And yes, for the same price point that what you're getting from mass market today at 600 ringgit per square foot, you get much better quality. Right? So for example, like today, one of the most highest rated property is Genstars, right? So we are buying a property nearby, similar density, right? Similar density, high-end facilities, high-end materials, but at only 550 ringgit per square foot is completed. Which is why, despite density, location-wise, Genstar is pretty good, we could only give that the rating that is being given because we are just buying something better. We generally believe buying property pre-COVID, you get much better value for money. Because today, post-COVID, cost of construction, cost of labor would have gone up easily by 30 to 50% across the board. So if they can sell the same price point pre-COVID, means what do they compromise on? Is the material, is the quality, right? Thank you for asking. It's not being, in a way, somewhat verified by a maintenance and building repair company. So you could argue that the quality of property pre-COVID should be better compared to post-COVID launches because of cost. Okay. Right? So I think we've covered all the questions that we're supposed to cover tonight. So thank you, everyone. Especially thank you, the panelists, Albee, Zakri, Sean, Azrin, William, right? For attending tonight. I hope you get a lot of value from tonight's session. I hope you get a lot of learnings. And again, right, if you are interested to get help, in terms of identifying the best possible property you can buy first time home buyer. Like I said, we have a service today. You can subscribe by just 499 ringgit. Full refund if you fail to find you the right property in the next 12 months. Links given below, right? And the job is to lower your risk to be as low as possible. So with that, thank you very much more. Have a great week ahead. Assalamualaikum. Good evening, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.
I'm just envious why Azrin gets so much emoji anyway. Like I could even
New face. New face.
even
Kita
Albee
old
didn't get so
member.
much, huh? Okay.
uh,
Okay, bye.
Bye.